Oh boy.
Are we live from New York?
We're live from New York, but
Nice.
you know, there's no one in here.
That's okay. We'll get them in here.
My name is Billy Carson. I'm excited to be here. I'm sweating, but it's not because I'm nervous, because I very rarely get nervous, to be honest with you. I'm just hot. And I'm not taking off my jacket because I'm on film. This is a little bit about my bio up here. As you know, you've probably seen me on Gaia, Deep Space, Ancient Civilization.
Wow, this is like loud even when I turn it down.
I've been on Beyond Belief.
I forgot like adjusting the volume
George
doesn't
Norrie's,
do anything.
Coast
You have to like
AM
do the volume
3
mixing.
times. I've been on with Jimmy Church. I've been on a lot of, notable places,
and
I
I
believe
need
that they're contacting me to come on and talk about this stuff is because
yeah. Let me just figure this out first.
It's valid information
Okay.
for the general population, the general public. So, without further ado, let's get started and get into this presentation.
Oh god.
As you know, I'm the
hold on. Discord. Here. Good god, there's gonna be so much going on. I will share the video. Go live. You'll watch there.
Yes, thank you.
We have this, we have that. I'll tweet a link real quick.
I'm at everyone in my Discord.
Adam. Hello, Vimy.
Hi, Mimi.
We're not muted, we're just waiting to get our stuff together.
Yeah. Also, I'm kind of big on your stream.
That's just how big you are.
Oh.
Your head just round.
Yeah. You could wear my hat.
Nice.
Nice.
Maybe she meant I'm muted because like she's working or something.
Oh. I'm gonna type hi to her then.
I need like a keyboard shortcut in my phone that just puts my link down. My Twitch link.
You could program that, right?
I think so.
Nice, good.
Okay, let's get to this. It's time to get woken. Do you know what I'm about to make you watch?
I have no clue, to be honest.
All right, this is called Billy Carson. We are living in a simulated reality. The ancient evidence.
Oh boy. So this is all just a simulation?
Yeah, basically. Let me get the title of the video actually there. There we go. All right. This is 40 minutes. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your socks off.
I'm not wearing socks.
I'm excited to
Has a volume.
I'm sweating, but it's not because I'm nervous, because I very rarely get nervous.
It sounds good on Discord. Let me check your stream.
And I'm not taking off my jacket because I'm on film. This is a little bit about my bio up here. As you know, you've probably seen me on Gaia, Deep Space.
Yeah, I'm going to talk right now to test it.
I've been on Beyond
Yeah.
I've been on George Norrie's
He's been on George Norrie's Coast to Coast AM 3 times.
I've been on a lot of, notable places.
Forbidden knowledge.
I believe that they're contacting me to come on and talk about this stuff is because I have some information that I'd like to share.
I think the sound is good.
Okay.
For the general population.
Hey Sataka. I'm not going to tell you anything about ancient aliens, but Billy Carson will.
As you know, I'm the author of the compendium.
And me and Misty are going to draw stuff.
It's only
And it
available on
dropped.
forbiddenknowledge.com with the number 4, forbiddenknowledge.com right now.
I'm gonna
This
start
is,
with a classic.
Just a photo that I took when I just got back from Peru a few weeks
Chat,
ago.
I didn't hear
I
myself
made a
talking.
dedication to
Is my
myself. I've been
volume
traveling
okay?
for a very long time. I mean, I went to Chichen Itza back at 20 years ago. But I made a dedication to myself moving forward. This was back in 2017. That moving forward, I would get more hands-on in the field. Not just to be labeled as a researcher or a conspiracy theorist, or I like to call myself a conspiracy realist, but a person that actually goes out and gets his hands dirty. And
For
gets
some
out there
reason,
and
I
find
can't see
out,
the video
for my own self,
on
what
the-
it feels like, what it smells like, what it tastes like.
Where?
on the
And so
Discord.
that's what I've been dedicated to. This is a
You
picture
can't
that
see
I
the
just
video?
took,
It's
just a
like
few
not
weeks ago. An
playing.
amazing view at the top of Machu Picchu.
On
Try,
the Discord,
uh,
but it's
Doing a
playing
tour
clearly
of Peru
here, and I
in
hear it.
2020.
Try to
As
unwatch and then
well. I'll be
rewatch.
announcing that probably online very soon. Just another photo. And I also proposed at that very spot. So if she would have said no, I was just going to roll right off the edge
Anything?
because
No, it's here. I'll take a
Hey, I
snap
mean,
of it for you.
I can end it right there and nobody would,
What about
know any
now?
different. I mean, we're literally at the very edge. It's like a 250-meter drop right there.
Anything?
So I figured
Oh,
I'd
now
just
I
roll
can
off
see it.
and
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
be done with myself.
That's
But
so dumb. It's because I
luckily for
have
me,
it
she
off
did
the
say yes.
the screen.
So
Because I was trying to conserve
Oh.
space, so I pushed it like off
as
the
well.
screen so that it wouldn't be seen.
married there probably
that
when
is
I do
dumb.
the tour of Peru.
But it's
So
fine.
everybody who comes to the tour of Peru will probably be at the wedding. Today we're going to talk about the Fractal Holographic Universe.
This
is
is,
a photo that I
alien
took at
right
the
here.
Field Museum in Chicago. And we're
That's
going to go into
definitely an
fractals.
alien.
One of the things I like to do when I teach and talk about these types of things in lectures and workshops, I like to use a lot of visual material because people
gonna
I
draw a
found are very
classic
visual.
alien.
And
You what?
the majority of people are actually visual. And
classic
that's why
alien.
Instagram is
There you go.
such a big success. Instagram became a big success.
Jarelio,
because it's
hello.
very visual. It's mostly
Are you ready to
photos.
see some alien
I
action
remember
here?
when it first came out, and myself, was not really too much of a visual learner for whatever reason. But when it
Oh,
first
no,
Want to
it's
came
good.
become
out,
famous by followers?
pictures,
I'm gonna
I actually
ban the hell
chuckled
out of them.
Get him.
at the fact that just putting pictures online, I'm like, what are people going to put pictures of? How many pictures can you put up? Then I said, one day I said, okay, let me just try this thing because a lot of people started getting on
Spina's
Instagram like in
spaceship is
2011.
like,
So at the end of 2011, I said, let me make an Instagram account.
It's
and
just
post a
tall
couple
enough for
crazy
his
photos
body.
and just see what happens. The next thing you know, it turned into something I couldn't even believe. From the beginning of
And then there's like a
2012
glass
until
bubble
now,
over top.
801,000 as of
Nice.
today on Instagram. Facebook started much later. It's around 600-something thousand. But between all 130 accounts that I have, it's up to almost 3 million people that follow all my different accounts. A lot of you are following other accounts, so you don't even know that I actually own those accounts. That's a part of the fractal. So what is a fractal exactly? A lot of people throw this term around a lot in the conscious community.
Yes,
and in
Abigail,
science
this
as well, and physics.
this is what aliens
And a
look
lot of
like.
people utilize it
You may
themselves,
not like
really
it, but
having
this
a
is what
understanding
alien
of what a fractal
performance
actually is. So I wanted to pull up the definition. A curve or geometric figure, each part of which has the same statistical
But first we have to. But before we can talk about aliens, we have to talk about fractals.
Eroded coastlines and snowflakes, in which similar patterns recur
We're learning about
progressively at smaller
fractals right
scales.
now.
And in describing partly random, chaotic phenomena such as crystal growth,
Oh, he's got a
fluid
party hat.
turbulence, and
his
galaxy
birthday.
formation. So you see why we're talking about fractals. Of course, the last term there, galaxy formation. I really do believe, and not just me, other physicists, scientists,
Happy
really do believe
birthday.
that we're living in a fractal holographic universe.
You think
And I hope that
aliens
the
celebrate
information I present to you
birthday?
Today will
This
give
one
you
does.
enough that you can go back and
What if
look
I think
at
alien-
aliens
yourself
have
and come
birthdays.
up with
What if
your own
alien has
understanding
multiple
of it, and maybe,
birthdays?
you'll see it my way, maybe you
Happy
won't.
birthday number
But I'm going to give you the information
one
nonetheless. One of the important things that
7. He
Nassim
probably has a
Haramein
whole
said
birthday
was
week.
that the protons are
Okay.
entangled. Have
honestly.
anybody here heard of quantum entanglement before? Okay. Quantum entanglement.
Pora
is
makes an
very
interesting
important.
point.
It's a very
People stopped
powerful
believing in
thing.
demons and
Links
started
us to the
believing in
spiritual
aliens.
world. The reason why
That makes
prayers
sense, like all
work
those
if you know how to
sci-fi
pray, and
shows
that's a very important thing I
where
talk
it's
about
like
a lot
the
about
urban
in
legend
a lot of my seminars. You have to know how
has
to
the
pray
gothic
because
twist where
there's two different
it's
ways to
actually
pray. We'll talk
it's
about
actually
that
aliens
as
all
well.
along.
But you must quantum entangle with the source
A
energy.
lot of horror
Like the
movies
old
go
school
on.
Quantum entangle with the
romantic
source
gothic
energy,
stuff
that's
was
when
like
you can get a result.
these
If you're
paranormal
praying
things have a
at the
logical
wrong
explanation.
frequency, in other words, if you're praying
But
from
now
a
it's like
position of
the explanation
begging,
is aliens.
from a position
She
of
got
getting on your
pregnant
knees,
somehow.
which is not
Must
a
have been an
problem being on your knees,
incubus.
but you're in the position of I need help and I don't know where
Now
Oh, he's
it's
got a
an
bow
alien.
tie.
asking and begging
Yeah,
for
he's
something, a result,
he's
versus
living large.
using the power that's already in you of the creation and commanding
What if instead of
your end result,
birthday
commanding I'm healed,
like gifts like
commanding
boxes,
that
they
this
have like
situation's going to get taken care of, commanding that everything is
pyramids.
going to work out in my favor, not commanding as if I'm the creator of all planets and moons and solar
Check
systems
that
and
out.
everything
He's
else,
got a
but
birthday.
commanding, knowing that the source energy runs through you,
Pyramid.
in
Oh
you, and
wow,
out
just
of
for
you.
him.
There's gonna be
Understanding
pyramids in
that
this
all
video.
of that is
The
on the
people
inside,
made it for him
and then you can
because
push
they
it to alter your reality tunnel on the
I don't know how to
outside.
do a bow.
And in science and quantum physics, you can quantum entangle
Can you do me
atoms
a
by
bow?
simply phase shifting the atomic frequency to
Oh,
the same
thank you.
frequency. So if I
Good enough.
do parabolic down conversion with a laser and take two particles of matter and get them on the same frequency, I can take one of those particles to the other end of the universe. And then when I change the information or put data on the one that's local to me, the other one that's on the other end of the universe will change instantaneously to match. Okay, so that's incredible. That bypasses the speed of light. So what does that tell you? Distance is an illusion.
Porum
Space is an
says,
illusion.
if you see an
Time is
alien, kick his
illusion.
ass for me.
Locality
Stealing demons'
is an
thunder,
illusion.
jerks.
The fact that
Oh,
I'm
you're
standing
into
up here now
demons?
talking to you, I'm
She
actually
is a
talking
demon.
to myself.
Oh, Porum is a demon?
Yeah.
And vice versa,
Oh,
when you're
shit.
talking to
a
somebody, you're
demon.
talking to yourself.
That's pretty
We're
cool
all
then.
different
Her and
aspects
Abby
of
are
the same
friendly,
exact
though.
consciousness.
Oh, that's good.
That's all we are.
Yeah.
We're literally, consciousness divided itself into
This is like a snake
multi-Googles
demon.
of entities to experience
he
itself
wants the sweet
subjectively
baby
from
raised
various different
barbecue sauce.
perspectives on a data collection
So this
mission.
guy was saying
Consciousness is
quantum
here to
physics and
collect
stuff.
Information. That's what this whole
If you think of
experiment
like
is all
an
about.
atom over here,
And what do I mean by that? Let's
then
go in
like
the fractal
it'll
mode and
affect
go
the one
down
over
as
here.
above, so below. Let's look
And that's
at
how
your
Spino
brain.
makes his ship move.
Okay, your brain is encased in complete
Spino
darkness.
is very
And what does
wise.
it do?
Very,
It doesn't know
very
what's
big
going
brain.
on out there. It can't see, smell, touch, feel anything. It says to its friends, please, you guys go out there and collect some data.
Here's
Bring
what
me
his
back some
brain looks
information
like.
So I can figure out what's going on out there. So sight, smell, hearing, feeling, touch, and everything, they go out, they go, okay, we're going to go out and collect this information for you, but they themselves don't know what the data
Wait,
is.
hold
They
on.
Maybe
can't
that's what
decipher it
Sensei
for
wants
themselves.
you
They
to
have
think,
no idea what they've
Jorelio.
collected. They've just collected literal zeros and ones of bits of information. They bring it back to the brain that's encased in complete darkness, and then what happens? The brain puts it all together, figures it all out, and then projects a hologram of what's going on the outside. And you navigate through that electromagnetic field to bring you even here to this seminar today. That's how it works. And when you quantum entangle, when he's talking about, and I see him here, he's talking about quantum entanglement.
He's got
it lets
the,
you know that
let me zoom in
everything is
there.
connected. We're all connected. If you energetically, all of our particles, all the atoms that make up our bodies are all still connected. We still literally are
He's
all
got a
one.
hamster. That's a good
Separation
hamster
is an
wheel.
illusion.
Yeah, he's got the hamster wheel in there. That's how.
Illusion of matter and separation is when you slow down the frequency of
Yes,
the
Abigail. There's going to be
electromagnetic
much
wave,
good
and
art out
then
of this.
add
Thank you for
consciousness of the
stopping by,
conscious
even if
observer,
for a
then you can
moment.
break it down into a pattern that
Have
can
a
be
good night,
recognized as
Abby.
physical matter. Okay, so
Wouldn't this
that's what we're
technically
talking
be an
about. We're
art
talking
stream?
about, a creation that we're living in
Yeah.
that,
I don't
luckily
know.
for us,
I should
is
put
not
Super Smash Bros.
100%
Melee as the category.
static.
I think you
It's
should.
dynamic.
I think we might get
And when you
rated.
know how to
Yeah,
I call
that
it
could be good.
navigating through the matrix.
Maybe
That's what I
even
call it.
Mario
When you know
Prince
how
will
to
show
play
up.
in the matrix, your life will
What are you
become a lot
drawing over
easier.
here? I've got the
A lot
camera on
more
you now.
things, the law of attraction
Oh,
will
me?
work a lot easier
This
for
is
you.
a
Your
snake
prayers and
alien, and he
meditations
wants the
will-
sweet baby
will
raised
blossom
barbecue
and bloom
sauce.
more.
Oh, that must be Mark
Your
Zuckerberg
desires
right here.
will
Yeah, it's
come
actually
forth
Mark
a lot better
Zuckerberg.
and a lot easier.
Okay.
But it
Gotcha.
all starts with understanding, first of all, what are we living in? What are we actually a part of here? And I think that once you get a good understanding of that, a lot more stuff will open up for you.
It's the
And
Zuck.
some people will call this new age information, and I think it's ancient information, which is why I wrote the book, The
Ancient
Compendium of the Emerald
information.
Tablets. I go deep into
The Emerald
how to
Tablets.
manifest light, how to manifest matter from light particles, which Thoth talks about 36,000 years ago. How to use vocal frequencies from your own throat to alter your reality tunnel. That's in the Emerald Tablets as well. I break all this down.
Dude, I want to read the
Some
Emerald
people thought
Tablets
that
and
he was
become
calling on names of
the
people.
most
No, he's
powerful.
calling on frequencies.
You wanna
He's
be woke?
emitting or
I wanna be extremely woke.
frequencies from his vocal cords
I'm
that
gonna
actually
draw
have a
some
direct
Emerald
effect when you
Tablets.
say those words the
I
proper
can't
way
read the
on
words, though,
space-time,
so
the
I'm
ether of
just gonna have
space-time.
them.
Yeah, I don't know if
itself.
anyone can
So
read
I
the
go into
words.
all of this, and some people go, well, what are the Emerald Tablets? So I just
Is
wanted
this
to
a
give you
college
breakdown,
discourse?
because
I don't know where this
there's a
took
lot of my
place,
research
Jorelio.
around
I just saw this on
the
YouTube
history of
today.
the Emerald Tablets is
or
strong
some of
and well
it.
documented. The original text was written in Thoth's Atlantean language. The version I'm referencing right now is basically from Dr. D'Oriel, who you can find his actual.
Porum, imagine a
new translation.
Imagine, if you will,
the Arabic version of
a
the Emerald
spaceship
Tablets, and it's called
with
the Book of Causes, written by the famous Thomas
100
Aquinas. A lot of
HP
people
hamster
who,
power.
maybe have followed the Catholic Church know Thomas Aquinas. A translation by Sir Isaac Newton. You might have heard of this.
Imagine
guy
that.
before.
All those hamster
Sir Isaac
wheels.
Newton, his work is currently housed at the King's College Library at Cambridge University. So his translation, interpretation of the Emerald Tablets are in England. You can actually go there and look at them. Philip of Tripoli also translated the Emerald Tablets in 1240 AD. A famous version of the Book of Secret of Creation and the Art of Nature was written in 683 AD by him, which was also inspired by the Emerald Tablets. A famous author named Roger Bacon was accepted into Oxford University at the age of 13, also translated and wrote a version of the Emerald Tablets. He was an English philosopher, Franciscan friar, who placed considerable emphasis on the study of nature through empirical methods. In the early modern era, he was regarded as a wizard and particularly famed for the story of his mechanical, neurocratic, brazen head that he created. He's sometimes credited mainly in the
This guy's got
19th
some
century
gnarly
as one of
buzzwords,
the
man.
earliest European advocates
Hold
of the
on.
modern
Kinda do.
scientific
Let me
method,
go back, let me
which
go back.
inspired Aristotelical, neurocratic, brazen philosopher, Franciscan friar, who placed considerable emphasis on the study of nature through empirical methods. In the early modern era, he was regarded as a wizard and particularly famed for the story of his mechanical, neurocratic, brazen head.
His mechanical, neurocratic,
He's
brazen
sometimes
head.
credited mainly in the 19th century as one of the
I don't know what that
earliest
means,
European
but it sounds
advocates
pretty
of the
cool.
modern scientific method,
I don't know.
which
He's a
inspired
wizard, though.
Aristotle and by later scholars such as Arab scientist Al-Hazen. And also now in 2018, a brilliant man, you might have heard of him, Billy Carson, was also inspired to write a compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Okay, so you might have heard of that guy.
What's your opinion on wizards, Lucia?
But this information goes
well,
back
they're just like
36,000
witches,
plus
but
years.
not
That's how old
right?
this information
But less
is.
feminist.
Into the Emerald Tablets and start reading it, you start
Yeah.
realizing right away.
more masculine
If you read
witches.
the book, you'll see it syncs
So
up with
they're
a
all
lot
right,
of
I
the
guess.
religious books that are
Unless they
really
cast
more
curses
new
on
age,
me.
modern, like the Bible, the Quran, all these modern religious books.
I don't know how
have
that
taken
works, to be
information
honest.
directly
Maybe
from
there
the
are.
Emerald Tablets, and
Maybe
I mean
there are male
almost
witches.
word for word.
Since
When
I
you
feel
start,
like
when
this
I start
picture
lining
of you.
up those
Oh my god.
scriptures,
Finally, I've got my hands on the
discuss,
Emerald
you have to-
Tablets.
You have to say to yourself,
You
what came
got
first,
it.
the chicken or the
Finally.
egg? I mean, this stuff
Why
is
aren't I
really old. You
levitating?
start to realize that a lot of this information
I won't even need to use
hold
my
on, hold
wings
on.
anymore.
picked directly out of these
I got you.
tablets. And then when you look in the Old Testament of the Bible and some of these other
Uh-oh,
texts,
don't tell
you
Abby.
discover that that information came from the Sumerian tablets, which are publicly available, and you don't need Zechariah's Sitchin to decipher
Nice.
the Sumerian tablets.
The shadow.
Sumerian tablets have been deciphered
Yeah.
hundreds
Super
of years
sensei.
before
Oh, yeah.
Zechariah's Sitchin was even a born, before he was even an embryo or whatever you want to call it, a spermatozoa. That thing has been floating around. Oh, he's the only person that can decipher it. No. What Zechariah's Sitchin did was he took information from the tablets that were already deciphered hundreds of years before he was born, and he took information from the Bible, from the Quran, and from other religious texts, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, and what he did was he painted a picture. He tried to piece it all together and give us an idea of what may have happened. I think that his work's been venerated because a lot of independent scholars have now gone into the tablets, including myself, and have come up with the same concept. Now, the story may be slightly different here or there, some of the
Woke.
particulars, but the overall idea that these advanced
you're
beings
woke now.
came here in ancient times, and they didn't create a human being from scratch, like just, oh, poof, we're going to make a human out of dirt and do some alchemical stuff. But what I personally believe is that they came here and an existing
gonna
hominid
name
was
him
already
Jerry.
on this planet.
I'm gonna give him like another
evolving.
type of aura.
Not the typical evolution of,
It's
science,
the power
mainstream
from the
science,
Emerald
but
Tablet,
We were
it
here
makes
already,
sense.
and probably
Yeah.
most likely
It's like
lot
looks
smarter
like
and more
hairs, but
intelligent
it's
than we
actually
are
a
now.
glow.
I'm dead serious. I'm not talking
Forum
technologically
asks, why do you
smarter,
think
maybe not in that time
conspiracy
frame that they
theories spread
arrived,
so easily in the
because there's
States
been
/
four
modern
advanced
times in
humanoid
general?
civilizations on this
Yeah,
planet
internet's a
before
good
the
answer,
scientific
but I
got
also
here.
think there's
They came at
a
a time when we were down. We had
a
fallen
distrust
man
of the
through
institutions,
cycle of
the
Euclid.
government.
Civilizations rise and civilizations fall. That's just the cycle
American
of life.
government
There's
can be
nothing
pretty
you do. It's
shitty
a very
sometimes, so I
cyclical
don't
thing.
blame people
And when they arrived,
for
there
it.
was an existing hominid here who was
Some of these
attached to
theories
this
are pretty
planet more
wacky.
spiritually, more in tune with the
I was talking to my brother about this.
planet.
This is the
We
kind of
also
stuff that
have
we like.
billions of magnetized
It would be
crystals in our
secretly
brains right
awesome if it
now,
were true,
and we don't even
but
use
it's so
them. Well, not
cracked
all,
out
some of us
that
are using them. But a lot of people don't use
you know, it's
navigate
nothing
the
that you would put
planet
your
to detect,
Bitcoin in believing.
situations that are occurring.
But
For example, if there's
but me and him are into ideas like meditation and stuff. But if there's more to it, that'd be cool.
hours,
some
sometimes
kind of
days
chuny
before it occurs.
part of my brain
How
wants it
come
to be
they
real.
know and we don't know? We stay there, we're swimming in the ocean, and we get swallowed right up. But all the wild animals head up.
But
to
I
the
think
mountains.
Americans are more
They're
skeptical
in
of
tune with the
institutions and
earth, they're in
governments
tune
and
with the
stuff, and
planet.
I don't think
Believe
that's a bad
based
thing
on
at
the
all.
skull size of some of our ancestors
I don't think
that were
that's a
here,
bad thing.
They weren't called Homo sapiens at that time. They were various different humanoids.
But
to me, in my
at the
personal
same
opinion,
time,
looking into the research and looking into some of the
a
archaeological
lot of
sites,
institutions
they were
are
way more
flawed.
advanced
I'm
than
not
us.
saying,
Their pineal gland
you
was
know,
larger,
all
they were
this is
spiritually
real.
in tune.
But what I am
They
saying is
most
that
likely
there's
had
people in
psychic
academia
capabilities to
who
communicate without
don't want
moving their
things to
mouths
change and they
everything
don't
else.
want to
Maybe even
receive certain
telekinesis. A
info
lot of
because
other
it'll
various gifts
change the
that
status
we are
quo
here
and
now all just
endanger
starting
their
to
job or
rediscover
whatever the hell.
how to download
I
information.
don't doubt that could
And,
happen at
real
all.
quick, I want to talk about that because a lot of people use the word we download. I get downloads. Never be afraid to use that because let me tell you something. The human DNA is very powerful. It's also a fractal pattern. But one of the most interesting things I found out about the human DNA
Fortnite duo.
is that
How
1
about that?
gram
I don't know.
of DNA,
I've
that's enough to put on
literally
the tip of
never
your finger,
played
can store
Fortnite in
700
my
terabytes
life.
of data.
If you can't build forts, you just
700
lose, and I
terabytes
can't
on
build
1
forts.
gram. A human body
Oh,
can
is that how
literally
that
store
works?
all the
Yeah.
information from the beginning of
Pretty
time
bad.
until this day. One human body. You're literally walking around in a gigantic storage unit of data that's already inside of you. And when you look at what happened when these beings came here, they disconnected that. So it wasn't that they created
Naruto alien.
a dumbed down version.
He's
What they
going
did
to
was
Area
they started
51.
disconnecting our information.
Let me
They
pretend I'm
became
drawing. I
Homo
want to color his
sapiens.
eyes
Our
in.
brains got smaller.
Oh, okay,
our
yeah, go
pineal
ahead.
gland shrank, and we have all this junk DNA that used to be connected. Now, one thing they discovered about the DNA.
Dude, if what
is
this
that you
guy's
can
saying is
actually
real, though, that's pretty
download
crazy.
Digital bits of information directly onto DNA. Zeros and
I think I've
ones.
heard
Like
that,
I
though,
could
from other
connect it
places.
Into a microchip, put it into a computer, and I can upload and download files, videos, play this whole presentation on DNA. Think about that. This is being done in
That's
universities all over the
crazy,
country.
but it's true.
So I think they downloaded the whole Library of Congress.
Like you hear this idea that like
and
what we're
uploaded it back to the
creating is
server.
just like kind of
Now they discovered
what we
as
already
well that,
have in our
which we
bodies
here
a
already
little
knew,
bit.
that everybody
Like an
emits a
AI is still
frequency.
nowhere near as
That
fast as like a
frequency is
human's
emanating
brain.
out and in, upload, download from DNA. So when you say
Well,
you're
humans
getting a
did make
download, you're
computers,
really
after
getting
all.
a download. Your body, if it's in tune to the right frequency, will download information directly into the DNA, and now they found out that memories are stored also in DNA. So you can download information, digital bits of information into your DNA, and they can then be sent
AI don't
your
have to
brain
do
for
things like eat or
processing,
sleep
and
or
you
have an
can get,
attention span, though. Maybe they should.
spiritual contact. You can see into other dimensions. You can get deeper.
Maybe
into
those things would
I
make
wanna
them more
see other dimensions.
would make them more
give you
woke.
better, higher levels of intuition. All these things are very capable and possible, and are not freakish, mystical, things that shouldn't be happening in human beings.
Well,
These things
Porum,
should
maybe
be
you could just
happening
download
all the
Japanese to your
time and on a
DNA.
daily basis. This should be a normal part of our
I
lives.
wanna
Right
do
now,
that.
the people that are in these positions of being able to tap into these frequencies and gather information
Porum,
are
what kind of
considered,
weapon would you use?
superheroes, in my personal opinion. But eventually, as we continue to move back towards that golden age, a lot more people will be able to tap into these abilities as well.
You want to use your horns? Okay.
Hold on, we're gonna fact check. I'm googling how much data can DNA store. Yeah, sciencemag.org. Okay. DNA could store all the world's data in one room. Let's see. Capable of storing 215 petabytes. Not petabytes. Yes, sickos. Petabytes.
Petabyte.
215 million gigabytes in a single gram of DNA. The system could, in principle, store every bit of datum ever recorded by humans in a container about the size and weight of a couple of pickup trucks. But whether the technology takes off may depend on its costs. Scientists have been storing digital data in DNA since 2012.
What?
Encoded a
Storing
2,000 word book and thousands of snippets of DNA. Oh yeah, that's right, because the DNA has the AGTC, and they were translating the zeros and ones to that. It was relatively inefficient. Could only store 1.28 petabytes. So only a little bit over 215 million gigabytes. Wow, that's weak. DNA can be compressed by 50% easily, right? Is that a computer joke, Porum? That one went over my head. But I bet the operating system takes up more than 60% of the DNA. DNA storage, data storage is closer than you think. This is how I read articles. I just scroll down the page and I go, wow, good headline. Anyways.
Thoth
That's
built
what I do.
the Great Pyramid. This is in the Emerald Tablets. His exact words, I builded the Great Pyramid, patterned after the Pyramid of Earth's force, burning eternally so that it too might remain.
Oh,
for
this is
ages.
where people get this
In it, I
idea
builded
that,
my
that
knowledge
the
of
pyramids
magic
are like
science.
a
Magic
conductor
science
for
translates into advanced
mental
technology. So that
meditation
I may be here
energies or
again
something.
When I return from Amenti, while I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul roaming free will incarnate, dwell amongst men in one form or another, Hermes the thrice born. And one thing that, if you've seen some of my other talks, I talk about these halls of Amenti, which were now discovered underneath the Great Pyramid at Giza, where Thoth would go down for 100 years at a time, and he had been down there 100 times.
Bro, I'm gonna
by
show
the
you how
time
an
he wrote
alien
these
would look
tablets. So that's
in real life.
100,000 years he has spent in
I
regeneration
wanna see.
chambers. Yeah, which have
I'll
now
go
been
back to
discovered
drawing
underneath,
aliens
and
in
they're
a
covered
second.
in
This
depth,
was
in
really
depth in the
important.
book and sort of photos and everything. Underneath the Great Pyramid, hundreds
Okay,
of
what I'm
these,
trying to do is
rooms where most likely they had these regeneration
I'm
chambers
trying to draw a normal
that he
person
would
right now,
utilize, and
okay?
he would transfer his consciousness from one avatar body to another, which we're now doing ourselves. You look at DARPA. DARPA has the Avatar Project. Successfully
guy right
already
here,
has
okay.
now transferred a human soldier consciousness that's in a concrete room, probably in a bunker somewhere, into a field
Normal dude.
robot halfway around the world or in some
And
test
his
facility.
name,
This is documented, real science. It's already been admitted.
Normal
This isn't
guy.
like a conspiracy. This is real stuff. You can look it up.
The only
So
difference
we're now, just
is
like
that
the movie,
his eyes are
the
like all the way
consciousness
up
of the-
here,
of the soldier is inside
and his
this
mouth is
robotic
all the way
body.
down here,
If you look at
and then he's got 2
2045
sets of
project
ears
with
for no
Russia,
reason.
they are now at the point
That's
where
it.
they've already transferred the consciousness of a
Alien.
monkey into a computer.
That's what.
And the
Oh
monkey
my God,
thinks
you're
it's
right.
alive.
2 sets of ears. It's like he has got dog ears on his head like a
The
VTuber.
monkey is dead. Well, physically in this realm it's dead, but
VTubers
it's
are
living inside of a
alien?
computer. That's how easily the mind is
But I'm
fooled.
saying, like,
And when you start looking at these virtual
you know how we have like
realities and how
useless
high-tech they
crap
get,
on us
you
still?
can understand that
Like,
yeah, like
why some
organs
people
and
are
stuff.
getting
We
Yeah,
don't
like
use.
organs,
The appendix.
being inside of
appendix.
virtual reality.
I think our
People have had
earlobes are not
strokes being
useful
inside of
anymore.
virtual
I don't
reality
remember if
because
there's a
that's
reason
how
for
good
them.
it is. It fools the brain
Little things like
into
that.
thinking you're really there.
But like, what
If
if
it's
so?
a
Like, what
scary
if
scenario, but
aliens
it's
look
just like
like
a roller
basically like
coaster
us,
forever,
except
you
they
get
just had
scared.
different
You can literally have a heart
useless
attack
organs,
or a stroke.
or they just had things
But the reason why I
placed
brought this
slightly
up is because
differently,
pyramids
but
are a
like
very
not
big
in a way
part
that
of
would
the fractal
substantially
pattern that we live in.
affect them.
Like I said, I've been all over the world. This
So
is a
that
video
so
of me
like
at the
they, like they were
Teotihuacan
they're
in
not that
Mexico.
different looking.
This is the Pyramid of the Sun
They
behind me.
probably
This
wouldn't
pyramid
be
is
really
built of
because
multiple pyramidal structures on the internal part
I
of it.
guess
So inside this
there's a
pyramid,
lot of different life forms
it's
on
built
Earth.
based on a fractal pattern design. And like I said, most of the
Possible
pyramids around the world
that
are
if
all
we're
built on this
here,
fractal pattern type
there
of a
would be
design, where
similar
there's pyramids inside
beings
of pyramids
somewhere
inside of
else.
pyramids until you get
Yeah.
to the outer structure. There's also the Pyramid of the Moon there. That as well is a multi-pyramid design. So when you look at the internal structure, it's pyramids on top of pyramids.
You guys talking about
built
these hips
again
right here?
in a fractal pattern.
These
This is me at
hips?
Giza at the Great Pyramid. Again, this pyramid, I've been around it, inside of it, on top of it.
Is this a Porum alien?
This is one of the most
just
amazing
This
is
pyramids in the
Porum
world.
fighting an
Yeah,
alien.
it's called
Oh,
the Great
okay.
Pyramid for a reason. It has so many astrological
really
and
important.
numerological features in it. It is just mind-blowing and outstanding. You can calculate everything with the Great Pyramid. You can calculate the speed of the Earth around the sun. You can calculate the distance to the moon. You can calculate the distance to the sun. You can calculate the tropical
During the
year,
birth
sidereal
event causes
year.
extreme
This
pain
is
and
all based
sometimes
off the
death due to
pyramid,
babies' big ass
blocks
heads.
and the geometric shape and the feet.
Aliens
as
probably
well as
just
the
cut 'em
base, as well
open.
as the height of the top. The height of
And
the
they
Great
just-
Pyramid will give you
The baby looks like
average
BB
land
from
height
Death Stranding, and it's
of
just
all
on your
the
coffee
land mass
table,
in the entire world.
and you show it off to your
How do you
friends,
get that
and you don't
information?
actually stretch your
That
body or
means
do
you have to
anything
be in something
icky like
above
that.
The land that
That'd be
scans
nice.
all of the land mass, and it has to take that information into consideration. And has to
Is
come
it
up with
against
an average
TOS if I
number.
draw the alien with a
When it
gun?
comes up with that average number of land mass, then
No.
you say, okay, we're going to build
People
a Great
play
Pyramid to
FPS
that
games all the
average
time,
land
right?
mass height, so that somebody in the future can discover how technologically advanced this is, or key in on some of these mysteries that we have hidden here. This is should be like a beacon to say, hey, there's more knowledge than this in here. So when I looked into it, the Great Pyramid is 455 feet high, and that's the average land mass of all the land on Earth. It's also built directly in the center of the land.
It's also
mass of
built
Earth,
differently.
not in the center of the Earth. It's built in the center of the land mass. So again, you would have to be able to scan the entire
magic from
planet
their
and
horns.
find
I
out
don't know.
where would the
A
central
freaking alien
location
brought a gun
for
to a
all
horn
land
fight.
mass on this planet be located, and boom, right there. When you look at the Reese Map, which is an ancient map that dates back and has been reproduced many, many times over and over lambskin and everything else, this ancient map depicts Antarctica without the ice, exactly as it would look if the ice was removed. The other thing that's amazing about this is that it's written in a certain type of an angle on the.
Oh, he would
parchment,
have like a
and that
katana.
angle
Yeah, he
can
would.
only be viewed
Yeah, he
from space
definitely
looking
would.
directly
He
down
only
the horizon
before he came
from
to
that
Earth, he
perspective
just
of the
watched
map.
Naruto and thought that
So
was what
again, we
humans
have
were
another
about.
hint that these people may have been, our cousins may have been space travelers. This is me inside the King's Chamber of the Great Pyramid. Inside the King's Chamber, these gigantic magnetic granite plates are 100 tons, and behind them are fractal pyramids behind these granite plates. And I'm standing right there with what they call the sarcophagus, which is not a sarcophagus at all. It's actually the same exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant. So the Ark of the Covenant most likely used to fit directly in that box. That box was added to the structure much later because the pyramid was a power generator.
I'm having a real
other
time
things.
trying to pay
This is just
attention to
one of the
drawing,
features that it
chat,
was a
talking
power
to you,
generator, but it
and
also did a lot of, it transmitted
getting woke.
information, it transmitted sound frequencies, it
Oh yeah, I'm totally
in my
like,
personal opinion, even images.
yeah,
It
it's
probably
not
opened up
happening.
portals.
I'm
It
trying.
had a lot of functions and features to it. If you look at the location of the geometric coordinate for the Grand Gallery, not the Great Pyramid, but the Grand Gallery itself, it's located at
You don't know that Sensei above gonna whap him with the emerald tablet.
Look at the speed of light.
It really is.
299,792.
Oh damn, this is
48.
actually a 2 versus
You
1
see
fight.
that's meters per second, by the way. So you go, wait a minute, meters weren't
Me and
invented
Porum
or
teamed
discovered
up to
until
kill this alien.
1960s or whatever. No. When you go
Yeah.
into the Sumerian tablets, you start to learn a lot
You
of
gotta
information
defend the Earth.
about our ancient history. They
Use
had a
Earth.
metric system, a Proto-Sumerian metric system. Which
I'm
is
gonna
even
draw
on
what the
Wikipedia,
Ark of the
believe it or
Covenant
not.
actually looks
You
like.
go for Wikipedia,
That's the
but
reason why
the
they
fact
hide
that
it from
even
us.
documented, but it gave me some links to some valid sources, which I was able to check out, and to some actual tablets that had the metric system written on them 7,000 years ago. So forget what you learned in school about we just started getting the metric system. That's all brand new. It's all new age stuff. The metric system is ancient, okay? Very ancient. This is me at Chichen Itza. This pyramid again at Chichen Itza is a fractal pyramid. On the internal parts of this pyramid are multiple pyramids. Tulum as well, multiple pyramids here, okay, inside of the
Oh
structure.
yeah, on fire.
I
Got
tell
you.
you guys, I've been all over the world. I'm just telling you, I've been everywhere, investigating this stuff, getting my hands on it. So no matter where you go around the world, you're going to find pyramids all over the world. And the structures are all built on these nodes, these magnetic nodes, or these power nodes of the Earth. And when you look at those power nodes of the Earth, you discover something. They're even fractal. So the planet's got fractal power nodes, and these ancients discovered, and every single one of these points, even if it's in the ocean, you will find a structure, a megalithic structure, or a pyramid on every single.
Do you hear
one of
this
these
guy?
points
So this,
on our
okay,
planet.
this
That's
part's cool.
absolutely amazing.
Okay. This guy's saying that that the Earth is divided in these fractals, and that each of these points there's a pyramid. And that's something you could easily fact check.
Oh.
I'm crazy, so I'm gonna take his word for it. Okay.
That's trippy if it's true.
And there's that one like, where is it? I think here. Wait, that's that one pyramid off the coast of like Florida.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
some in the ocean. There's one in Japan. There's one in Florida. There's some others elsewhere. There's like lots of underwater pyramids. Not a lot, like 2 or 3 that we know of. And,
Underwater pyramids sounds so cool to go explore,
yeah,
and also terrifying. But
that's why Minecraft like gets me going sometimes. That kind of underwater, not just underwater, but just the exploration of like, whoa, spooky stuff. Yeah, there's probably a Mario eel inside the the fucking underwater pyramid, and that's why no one is able to go there or survive. And then this guy goes on and says that the Bermuda Triangle has a pyramid underneath and it's still active, and that's why ships go missing over there.
Amazing, and that's
But what if it's true, bro? What if
fact,
it's true?
not fiction. This is
Pretty
something
crazy.
that's being looked into
Well,
right
the
now
Earth is
by
moon's
a
gonna
lot
fuck
of
up the
people,
Earth.
the ones that scour the oceans for
The
wrecks and everything else. They're
chirpy-looking moon.
discovering everything. They just discovered pyramids off the coast of Florida inside the Bermuda Triangle, which I talk about on the new show that I'm on the Travel Channel. Will be coming out in a few months. There's pyramids everywhere. If you draw a line from the Bermuda Triangle pyramid straight through the Earth to the other side, you end up at the Dragon's Triangle, where you have the Yagoni Pyramid, which is actually a tourist attraction. You can dive to it. There's a gigantic, and guess what? They have the same exact mysterious disappearances as the pyramids they just found off the coast of Florida. Why? Because those pyramids are still generating a form of exotic energy. They just discovered that. One of the objects was taken from the pyramid complex out of Florida and taken to a laboratory, and it's emitting some upward ionic field. And when you apply a magnetic field to that, anything you put above those ions levitates. And this is real science, documented, real footage, actually documentary footage, which you'll get to see some of that pretty soon. Creation according
Dude, he
to
said we were
Hermes,
gonna see it soon, and then
Noahs, which is also translated
I didn't
to
see
God,
it.
created a second Noahs who
He didn't
became
show
a
it to us.
craftsman and creates the
Yeah,
world.
what the heck?
Noahs too creates
We
seven
paid
powers
for
and
this
seven
college
spheres around
class.
what will become the
But
earth.
I didn't see
The
all
seven
this. I
spheres
just
have
saw
control over
a portion
what
of it
will
at
be
work.
the earth. They control what we know as destiny.
Oh, so
seven
you're
spheres
also
of the
getting
moon,
woke.
the sun,
Or I was
Mercury,
getting
Venus,
woke at
Mars,
what
Jupiter,
work.
and Saturn.
Woke at work.
Beginning of astrology. Noah's two.
And at work, they're like,
physics,
pay
and motion.
attention, and I'm like,
So this is literally
bro,
an
you don't know what
archetype
I'm,
of talking
you don't know
about
what I'm getting
creating a
into
fractal
right now.
pattern that can create all life in the entire universe. And this goes into the 7 principles, which I'm not going to go into all 7 principles. I'm going to mostly focus on the principle of correspondence, which is number 2. The principle of correspondence is as above, so below. We've all heard about this before. That gets into fractal patterning. Again, this is from 36,000-year-old text in the Emerald Tablets. Thoth is talking about
All right.
as above, so below.
So we looked at the ancient evidence,
very in-depth detail about
and what we found was when we found the Ark of the Covenant, we found the ancient technology,
on our websites and our screensavers and everything else.
the ancient tech.
But these circles
Here it is.
Basically is where everything starts. And there's a group of cells at the base of your spine that are still in this format.
That's
right now to this
that's
very
what they
day, because
found.
Once those
I think
first
that's the
8
Energizer
cells,
Bunny.
7 cells form,
That's
in this
amazing.
pattern, they stay at the base
Yeah.
of the spine. In all
I was gonna draw the
mammalian life
Energizer
until you
Bunny,
die.
but I realized that was
This is a
Energizer,
cross-cut
not
section of
Bruce. So.
DNA that has a flower of life and the golden ratio built directly into
Oh,
it.
this
So
is
no
kinda
matter how
fucked up
small
though,
you go
okay.
on the scale,
This
you
is
see
fucked.
fractal again.
This is real. Supposedly, this is a cross-cut section of DNA.
That?
Yeah, and I googled it, so it's probably true. But like, do you know about the golden ratio and it being existing in everything?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I mean, it doesn't like prove anything one way or the other. It's just fucking crazy and just goes on with it more like that this golden ratio exists in like pineapples and apparently roses and okay, it is a little crazy when you throw it all over people's faces, but or you know, or it's a JoJo, whatever. Okay, but he took it from this real life idea. Okay. But so, DNA cross-section.
So it does really look like that. Wow.
According to
It looks
Goggle.
like one of those kaleidoscopes.
Yeah. And he also claims it's golden ratio congruent. Oh, that looks like science. I don't want to read that. Give me headlines. Give me...
Cool gamer fact. Sensei's not a science teacher.
Yeah, I'm not. That ain't me. I don't know, okay. The guy said it. Alright.
The guy said it. I mean, it looks like it could.
Let's see here. I don't know. So what if I could only find images on Pinterest, okay?
That's the thing with all conspiracy stuff, though. There's some truth to it, but then you get giant leaps and just hand wave it as true because the other stuff was true. So Parham said.
There is some truth to it, but then you get giant leaps. But I think quote conspiracies about fucked up things people have done in the government and history. I think those people should look at those a little more seriously. Like ancient alien stuff or thousands of years of humanity's past, like who fucking knows? We're never gonna know. But like CIA has done a lot of fucked up stuff.
Yeah,
So is the FBI. And like people just scheming. It's not actually that far off. But people are so quick to say, "Oh, conspiracies, conspiracies." You guys are so silly. No one would ever do bad things. No one would ever plan things or make things go a certain way. That's where I draw the line, where I say, okay, you guys should be open to it. Healthy dose of skepticism. But that is a problem too, because then you get people moving the goalposts. They're like, guys, this is gonna happen, bro. Trump's gonna do this and that. He's gonna bust all these people or something, and then like nothing happens, and then they're like, they move the goalposts, and then they're like, no, I swear it's gonna happen this time. No, it's gonna happen this time. Just wait. You see like a lot of crazy people do that all the time about stuff. Yeah, giant leaps is a big problem, and I also think moving the goalposts is a problem. When people think because it's just another form of giant leaps. I think they see evidence where they want to, and then nothing comes of it, and then they go, well, doesn't mean it's false. Doesn't mean it's not true.
Again, the fractals are consistent throughout nature. And here we go again with mitosis. You can see
oh yeah, let's go
just
back over
looking here as a cell develops.
See what
you can
Mr.
correlate
Oh
it
my
to a
god.
flower of life pattern. And a flower of
Jump
life
scare.
pattern itself
What?
is an
What one
energy
jump
pattern
scared you?
that emanates
If
in
you know
us,
what
around
jump
us, and
scared
through
me.
us, and it's
Oh, him.
it's everywhere, and it's omnipresent. Which
What were you talking about him? He made an appearance. I had an idea of what to draw, but then I was thinking really hard about what we were just talking about, and
but it also
I
can be morphed
forgot.
into a biological method to where you can create life from it as well. It's everything. Everything is fractals. I'm sure some of you have seen this before. A brain cell versus the universe. The birth of a cell versus the death of a star. A human iris versus the universe. So a nebula. So you can see all these different patterns throughout nature consistently. Once again, in my personal opinion, proving that we're living in a fractal holographic universe. This pattern is burnt into one of the pillars at the Osirian temple, which I've been to. And
That's like a leap too, like when people say like, oh, these things are all consistent, therefore my theory is correct. Hold on, buddy.
This particular pattern is hermetically burned into this this column. It's like atomically fixed on this column. Nassim Haramein talks about it in a documentary. I forget the name of the documentary now. You probably have seen it before.
Bro,
but
I can't draw.
He talks about this as well.
Pyramid.
One of the things he has seen and found to be very interesting, that it dates back tens of thousands of years. See, the Osirian temple is partially buried at Abydos, and above it is another temple. When you go to Egypt, you start to discover that there's sometimes 4 temples
On conspiracies in
other
general.
temples are deep beneath the sand. You can't even see them anymore. There's some still that have
skepticism, okay. It's like you have a random pattern of dots and then afterward force a picture out of it. Yeah, that happens too.
At one point, it obviously wasn't completely submerged, and but they left a little calling card for us with this flower of life symbol depicting torus energy fields, 0-point energy, and also creation of life. So you can see the same thing in the solar system. You can see that with the correlation to the inside of an atom versus our solar system. And just like how electrons can change orbits, our planets can change orbits. Planets in our solar system have actually switched places before. So when an electron collides with an atom collides with another atom, and the electron picks up a charge, it can jump orbits around its atom. It can actually change positions. And the same thing happens in our solar system. When a very big spatial body passes through our solar system, which now science has proven mathematically that Saturn and Uranus had switched places, and the reason why Uranus is on its side is because of a gravity pull from another planet that came through here in deep, deep antiquity, which is talked about in the Enuma Elish and the 7 Tablets of Creation, again, which is a work of Sumerian tablets that was decoded and translated long before Zechariah's teaching was even born. And also it's talked about in the epic of the Atrahasis, or the Atrahasis epic, which is also translated in the 17 and 1800s, long before Zechariah's teaching was born. So the reason why I always add that in is because you have the trolls that try to, come in there. And I love Zechariah's teaching's work too, because I think he's one of the greatest.
Kawaii Sky rated my stream with 5 viewers.
It's talked about.
Hi, Sky.
This spatial body,
How's it going?
this mass came through our solar system, collided with some other planets, and rearranged.
Thanks for the. Ooh, that's a fast shout out. You were on that.
Cell division, And you can see the effect.
I'm somewhat
as
of a
it goes
mod
so below.
myself.
One more time,
Press
more on
guide's
the
good. We're
front
drawing
here.
lots
But
of
this is
pictures. Let
very
me let
important
me
to
give you a
understand
tour,
how
okay?
We go from the largest to the smallest, and how
Here's
you can also see
here's
yourself as
Spino
part of the
in
whole.
his spaceship.
This is you, basically.
He's using quantum
As you can
mechanic
see,
thinking
spermatozoa,
to
you start
to
out with the
change
male
atoms
engine
across the universe.
entering in the egg. In
That's
the
a
upper
steering
right.
wheel, and he's got his
So
spaceship is
eventually
powered
somebody
by
will win this
the
battle.
hamsters.
It's
And
already been
wheels,
scientifically
as is
proven
his
that
brain.
the sperm even communicate with each other.
Moving on,
That's another
this
thing a lot of people
alien,
know, but sperm
it's his
communicate with each
birthday, birthday 1 of 7.
other. So
Oh, by
They
the
said
way,
some-
they're
he
actually
wouldn't have
individual
like a
life
7-week day. I mean week probably 7-day
Once they
week,
break through here in the top
because like
right,
fine.
ours is based
He's
on
got-
like Earth
that's when the
reasons.
spark of
He's
life
got
happens.
7
That's when
birthdays,
your
that's all.
His name's Jerry.
consciousness enters into
And then
your
he's got like a
body.
pyramid-shaped
That moment is
birthday
when you're
gift. Isn't that
sync with
nice?
quantum
The people
entanglement
made
Instead
it
of a
for him.
cube,
your higher
yeah.
dimension self
The humans
and
made it
syncs
for
in
him.
with this avatar body,
And
puts
then
you
here's
into what
Mark
I call a
Zuckerberg
temporal,
with
not a
Sweet Baby
temporary,
Ray's
but a
barbecue
temporal
sauce.
prison where your consciousness is
He
encased
needs the sweet
here in
baby
the third
He
rays.
dimension
needs the
for a
Sweet Baby
temporary
Rays.
amount of time.
He craves it.
So that you can see in the
Here's
lower
Sensei,
left,
me
the
after I've
brainstem
gotten the emerald
and
tablets.
and the
I'm gonna
brain
unlock the
itself
secrets
is just another
of the
further
universe.
extension of the
He got
spermatozoa.
woke.
It's not that it is the spermatozoa.
Um,
It's that it's a
There's the
fractal
moon chasing the
thing.
Earth, which is on
And then
fire.
everything else you have around
That must be
that's
Australia
carrying
on
that
this
brain
portion right here.
is just there to keep the avatar
Yeah,
alive.
probably.
That's
And then
all.
here's
The big
the
fire. Yeah,
the
yeah.
eel from
This is a
Super
meme I
Mario
made a while ago.
64.
Hello, I am the universe, and it is a pleasure for you to meet yourself.
And oh my God, is that a thoth?
Because we
A
literally
thoth?
are all
It's the thing
universe,
on
and
the
the
right
universe
side
is
of the
us.
video.
And some of you guys
His
know
name's
about
like a
Dr.
thoth or
Masaru
something. I
Emoto
don't remember.
and his scientific
He's one of
experiments.
the.
No, I
The
just
guy
saw
is
that there and
absolutely
drew
what he
it.
was, amazing, rest his
And then
soul
before we
now.
get to that masterpiece in the
I
middle,
got to go to
they
a few
found the Ark of
lectures
the Covenant,
his,
and it
this
looks
unbelievable
surprisingly
system
like
that he had,
a
that he
like
taught
some
us
sort of
to
energy
do
device, some
in
sort
lower
of
frequencies, like that song that I was
energy
playing a minute ago, that
container.
was written in
They
well,
weren't able to
encoded
tell what
at
it
32
was,
hertz.
but
And, he was really
this is
big
what they
on
found in the
frequencies
ancient
as
tomb.
well as how thoughts
Yeah.
affect water.
And then
also
here's
you can see
here's the
fractal
eel
pattern
coming out of the
based off
pyramid.
positive frequencies and
He's
positive,
gonna jump scare you if you
thoughts
try to get
with water,
inside.
which I thought was
Oh,
really
that's what
amazing.
he's. And there's like a star in there,
What is
probably.
a hologram?
Yeah.
So now
Well,
we're
there's
gonna go
another
and talk
there's
about
another
holograms,
pyramid
and we're gonna put
inside.
it all together.
Oh, good.
That's what he
A
said. That's
three-dimensional image
fractals.
formed by the
So
interference
Oh,
there's
right, right,
another
right.
of a
pyramid in
laser
there.
or other coherent light source. A
And
photograph
then
of an
best of
interference
all, we
pattern that,
have
when suitably illuminated,
Porum
produces
versus a
three-dimensional
Naruto
image.
running alien.
And we're living in the third
Because
dimension.
Porum doesn't like
So when I look
aliens
into that, the
because
deeper I look
they
into it, the more I start to feel that we're living
put
in a
put
projected
demons
light
in
matrix.
the shadows,
And what
so
that
to
means is
speak.
every
Yeah.
single atom
Yeah.
that exists in this third dimension.
And the
I mean, every single
Alien watched some
is made
Naruto
of
before he
light.
came to the
No matter
Earth.
how you break it down,
Yeah, he
whether
also
it's
found a
this
gun.
table, this counter, this computer, this microphone. When you get into the inside the atom and you split it open, you're gonna get energy. You're gonna get light.
Thank you,
Everything
Sky.
actually exists as an electromagnetic wave until a conscious observer collapses.
Well, Porum, I don't want to get political in here, but all I would say is
So, to me, at some point on the
I think there's
outer edges
a really
of the
big
actual
distrust of the
universe itself,
mainstream media.
all information is
and,
data is stored there permanently, but also there's
whatever
a
side you
projection
stand
of
on there is where the
we're gonna go
division
into a
is.
little bit that creates what we consider to be our
That's what
reality.
you got to
Now, we're
investigate.
living
Why
on the
why
inside
some
of this
people
projected
believe it and why
reality,
some people don't.
Which means we can't fully detect it. We're submerged.
That's
and
my
immersed
that's
inside
as
of it.
political as I'm going to get on
We're most likely not
Twitch.org.
living in base reality. A lot of people have talked about this. Even Elon Musk has now come out and talked about it. A lot of other physicists.
Commander
have come out and talked
Sky.
about this, that base reality is most
Welcome.
likely
Commander
multi-levels.
Sky.
And we're probably
Commander
living in a
Sky.
universe that was created by somebody
Yeah, it's
else
been
or some
decently
other
eventful.
group of
I
people.
can't
Twice?
remember most of what the
An
video's
ancestral
about,
universe.
but we've
We
drawn a
could
lot
be
of stuff.
living in some
Yeah.
child's,
And apparently
experiment,
we're living in a
some
holographic
project.
matrix.
But we
He's
are
just
so
Oh,
teaching us
this
about
is when he was
holograms.
talking about that, like, if you're on the
This
right
is something that's
frequency, you could
going
walk
on
through walls.
everywhere.
What?
So I told my brother we need to learn how to
Universities all around the
meditate into
world,
another frequency so we could walk through
different
walls and
scientific
stuff.
facilities and research
Just
facilities.
turn on the walk
We
through
are
walls cheat.
deeply
Yeah, exactly.
involved in creating
Hi, Sabo.
universes and black holes. This is something that
Hello,
we're doing right now.
Sibo.
We meaning the people in those positions that are working on these particular experiments and projects. We now have, as you know, The Sims. that
We've got
people
some
can play.
space to fill in over
And
here.
This video game is going to be conscious.
Yeah, we've got a little
They're saying within-
space
at
on
first
the
it was
left
gonna be
side
within 20 years.
and at the
Now it's
top.
going to be much.
Oh, you're gonna
sooner
go
than
play
that. Probably within
Borderlands
8
3?
years,
Okay.
The Sims are going to be conscious.
Three-dimensional multi-dimensional light
Okay,
matrices,
That
yes,
seems
Porum.
unrealistic,
It's
but
more realistic
when
than
you're
you
talking
think.
about multi-dimensional beings, elementals, and these types of things, we're talking
I have to
about
draw
people
more
that are living
fractals within
in
this
other
pyramid. Hold
dimensions
on.
that have the capability these Sims must have found a way to phase shift their atomic frequency, because if you phase shift your atomic frequency, you can literally pass from one dimension into the next.
Oh, that's the Sims.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Required to pass into another
That's
dimension,
that's what he's talking.
you
He's talking
must
about the
match
Sims.
frequency of that dimension. Period. There's no other way. There's no other reason. That's included as well for wormhole travel.
How do I match the frequency?
Some of the jet
I need to
killer
find
ankhs
out.
that the ancient pharaohs would hold in
Dude,
their
I don't know.
hands. Each one of those
That's probably the
jet killer
secret. That's
ankhs
probably what's in the
were
Emerald
tied to a
tablets that I'm gonna
specific
read tonight,
frequency of that-
and I'm gonna
of
get
that
extremely
pharaoh's
woke
body,
and start.
which allowed him to walk through some of the
You're
portal
gonna fill me in,
technology.
right?
I'm gonna become 2D. That's it. I've got it. He said you could transfer through dimensions, so I'm gonna.
Oh, he did say that.
But these particular,
I'm gonna radiate at a different frequency and then turn into VTuber. What a hell that would be, dude. To actually be a VTuber.
It's not that I can't pass it through this podium.
I wonder what you'd even do all day.
Empty space.
Exactly. You would just be on Twitter all day and on Twitch all day trying to scrape by.
Imagine being on Twitter
fucking
and Twitch all
miserable.
day.
The electrons in my hand are repelling the ones in this podium.
I like
But if I was able to phase shift my atomic
VTubing
frequency
as like a
of
potential
the
job,
atoms in my
but
hand
anymore,
to match
if I had to live
this
it,
podium, I'd pass my hand right through it and bring it right
well,
back with no problem. So when you hear if people walk
I wouldn't
through
mind living it
walls
as a
and
full-time
all these
job
types of things,
if I
very
had a good
realistic.
shtick
I
going
put
on.
everything back to real science, real
But-
physics,
Yeah.
things that can be done in
But
a real
literally
never being
being-
able to
way with
escape.
scientific thought.
Yeah, never
My
being able to
personal opinion, it
escape.
doesn't take away from
No.
the spirituality. What it does to me, it enhances it.
I would be
because
an
now I
anime
understand
girl
We should
in
ask,
real
yeah,
life.
Kawaii Sky, I think,
of how
alludes
stuff
to a
is
certain
operating,
point,
not just
which is
thinking
we
this
should
is
ask
kinda
Prince
weird
what
magic.
it would be like to be a
Feminine energies
a
have been
VTuber 24/7.
in the third dimension.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Imagine being on Twitch and Twitter all day.
And all the way up until now, it's still not being fully realized. But you must.
Whoa,
have
is that
the
you about to get
balance,
woke
and we
right
don't
here?
have the
Yeah, I'm
balance.
meditating.
Look at
You're
the
gonna
state of the world
meditate?
today.
I'm glad you could tell.
Look at the state of the world today. So what I'm saying is you have to have that balance, and that's part of the energy.
Oh, sure, there's a way to get
My
these
final
like giant
statement here,
icons out of the
we
way.
are living in the matrix. We are living in a holographic matrix. Thought, which is I am, materializes reality on this planet as a vibrating
here we
light
go.
or a hologram. It is brought in through electromagnetic frequency, which is vibration and sound. Thus, what we see or think of as solidity is actually a hologram created through thought, light, and sound. Everything in this material world is here because our higher light frequency self has called them into being. Just like a video game,
There we go.
the next frame of graphic appears as the characters need them to. We are a collective consciousness of everything created. Our particles instantaneously communicate with one another regardless of distance, whether we are 10 feet or 10 billion miles apart.
Porm, it sounds like you're having a hard
Each
time
particle always seems
coping
to
with the
know
fact
what the other particle's
that
doing.
you're living in the
All
Matrix.
information is possessed by the whole, and although we think we are separate from this whole, we are not.
Porm, you having your mind blown
Separation
right
is
now?
an illusion. This whole or all that is cannot be separated. We are the Sims, as we just saw.
This guy's not
Oh,
wrong.
the
It's
Sims.
just this is
Light
just
that
your
makes up this entire
cognitive
third
dissonance,
dimension and this holographic universe.
and it's
Your
physically painful
consciousness
for you to
wave
hear
function
the
collapses
truth right now.
electromagnetic energy into quantified digital bits of information that we call matter.
That's right.
The Sims.
So I appreciate your time.
Wait, Sensei, you can say that?
What?
I'm just joking. You
No,
can't
what'd
say
you say?
that word.
Oh, simp?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck Twitch, man. Simp. Oh shit! Hold on. Secret Sumerian knowledge.
Oh, we watched that whole video already?
Yeah, hidden below the surface, ancient underwater secrets. I'm into that. Wait, strange
Yeah, that
beings
one
that
sounds
couldn't have been
cool.
human.
That one sounds interesting too.
But you know what these
Ancient-
always are every fucking time is it's like a cave painting.
Oh.
Let me show you. It's like there's like okay, above your head I'm going to draw it, okay?
Okay. Because I usually don't watch a lot of conspiracy videos.
There's like a dude like this on a cave painting wall. Right?
Yeah.
And then they're like humans didn't look like this in real life. This must be some kind of extraterrestrial creature. This must be the
Cactars Real 2020.
the Anunnaki. Yeah, the cactars.
Oh, that's what I was gonna draw. The Tsuchinoko.
So Taka, flat earthers think forests aren't real.
Oh wait, my my little ahoge is gonna go straight up because I'm woke now.
Oh, nice. I just don't. As I was saying earlier, there's a lot of conspiracy theories I'm like quote open to, but flat Earth like started off as like a troll thing. Like I remember people started it deliberately to troll people.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's turned into anything is like really silly.
Yeah. My nephew likes to
So I
pretend to
just
believe
like,
in flat Earth a lot.
yeah. So if people like when they meme and they say like, "Would you punch a flat earther or something?" It's like half of them are joking though, right?
At least half.
At least
I
half.
wanna, I
But
wanna believe.
but there's totally. I've been on YouTube and seen a lot of very
Yeah,
sincere
there's
flat Earth
actually
videos.
people that believe the Earth is flat.
Yeah, but the moon landing totally didn't happen. I'll
That
stick by
guy that
that one.
hit
I'm gonna
his
stick.
rocket.
I'm sticking by that one. And Twitch be damned if they ban me for saying that shit. It's not fucking real. Didn't happen. The Bosnian evidence.
I'm easily impressionable. That's all I'm
Oh,
gonna say.
giants, dude. People are always talking about giants, like biblical Nephilim creatures that I don't fucking know, man. Ancient world of mysterious Swidarian human hybrids. Okay, that one's sparking my interest. Let's
I'm
see.
not too interested in the Thunder people.
Yeah, that one's not doing it for me. Ancient underwater is cool. Enema Elish
Hey, that
tablets,
guy was
maybe.
just talking about Billy Carson.
What?
The guy in the video. Oh, that is Billy Carson. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's Billy. This is Billy Carson. I don't know who these other ones are.
He mentioned. Oh, was he making a joke about himself? Okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah, he was. He
I
was
got
being
you.
very funny. Disc of ancient knowledge. All right. We're gonna do underwater.
Yeah, that one
Good
sounded pretty
morning.
interesting. Good choice.
I've got lots to show and hardly enough time to do it, so I'm going to get started.
Wait. We should finish this drawing and then save it, so then we'll know this
we
is
can
the
start a
Billy.
new one.
This is the Billy Carson drawing.
Okay, let me just finish drawing myself levitating.
Hide the shark VTubers are gonna get upset over this. Over Atlantis. They should all go back to Atlantis. You know what I mean? Sibo says here in Brazil have a lot of people that really believe in a flat Earth.
Oh no. Okay, I'm
But
levitating.
I wonder why that is, Sibo. Do you think they feel like they can't trust institutions, governments, schools? Is there like a reason like that? Like they feel like they can't trust the authorities in their nation, so they resort to those things? Chronic lack of perspective. I don't know, Porum. I think that's like a little callous of where they're coming from. I think I'm holding to this theory that I think it's like a general distrust, and there's varying levels of intelligence. Okay, like people who are gonna buy like orgone blasters and think that they're protecting their home from alien invasions or some shit. Like that's pretty silly. Those are people getting like frauded by someone who's trying to sell a product.
Grandma, not
and
again.
Then, but then who Grandma?
Grandma falls for that stuff all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably just the degrees of. That's probably what I'm talking about. The degrees of goofball headery with believing certain things, like being open versus just believing it wholesale. Like I know, like the people that I've known who have been like that will like be very paranoid, and then they'll like read from 100 different crazy sources and then like mishmash all the things together and then like believe all of it at the same time, even though it's contradicting. There's not much like critical thinking involved. It's just like a lot of cool ideas. Like admittedly, like this guy was sending me all these crazy things about aliens and stuff, and I'm like some of these ideas are kind of cool, and then other ones I'm actually like, this is actually bad sci-fi. These ideas kind of suck. But wouldn't it be funny if that was real though? Like the idea that you think is the least interesting and the least cool is actually like the most matter of fact, the most real. But you know, you'd never like put your money or your life on these ideas. I think that's the difference. And some of these people would, and that's where it gets scary.
Oh yeah, true. Definitely true.
See, people here think they're special believing in that. Most of them are very religious or bodybuilders.
It's sad. Oh,
Why is it such a split?
Why?
Why are they religious or bodybuilders?
But if you believe,
Religious makes sense because there's a lot of like most of the conspiracy people here are religious. But bodybuilders, why?
oh boy,
Jim have a lot of flat Earth believers.
these religious bodybuilding flat earthers.
Maybe it's because they tried to hold the Earth up like Atlas. They couldn't do it, so they determined that the Earth was flat. All right, I'm gonna save this one.
All right, I also saved it. I named it Billy Carson Fractal Simulation.
Okay. Make a new folder. Aliens.
We were busy with anime. I studied the flex.
Studying the flux. Porum, I knew a dude who was like really into the hollow Earth theory.
Hollow Earth?
Yeah.
Boy, I'm getting real woke today.
All right, I saved that. I think we're good. You
Earth
have a
is full
copy
of
anyways,
titans.
though, so you're right. Earth is full of titans. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Okay, new canvas. Do you think 800 by 600 is fine? This was probably fine for what it was, right? I think this is plenty of space.
Is that what this one was?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. What the hell? Delete. How do I clear it?
File new?
I did new and then it just made a new window.
Oh yeah, you'd have to invite me again, I think.
Really? That's dumb.
What
There's gotta
if
be a way to
we-
just like mass erase everything.
There usually is on these things. But I don't see it. I'll just erase with a really big eraser.
Wait, what if can you make a new layer and then like delete the previous layer? That might work, right?
You can do that. So I will.
Oh, were you drawing on another layer?
Yeah.
Very technical. Very nice.
Delete layer.
The
Where's
alien
new
slash
one?
Porum's clothes off.
Remember?
She naked. And bald.
Uh-oh. Oh wait, there it is. Okay. Oh yeah, it did.
Yo, what if the emerald tablets are like the chaos emeralds?
It won't let me delete layer 1, so I'm just gonna erase it.
Oh, you can't just make a new layer and then make that the new layer 1 or something?
Yeah, it won't let me get rid of layer 1.
Oh, I got rid of it.
What the hell? It wouldn't let me do it. Super Sensei.
Wait, how do I... Oh shit, what did I do? But now I can't make a new one. Can you make a new one? Wait. There we go. We're good. Okay, we're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. All right. The quest for Atlantis. Let's get to it.
We're about to learn
My
about
talk today will be on
ancient
just
underwater
one
secrets of the
portion
Bahama
of the
Islands.
explorations
Hello,
that Greg and I have been
Vajanis.
involved in. And this
Hello,
will primarily
Vajanis.
be about
We're
the
good.
Bahamas.
You just missed our
Someone sent me this
drawing
cartoon,
we
and
did.
I thought, well, at least the
Little bit
mainstream is keeping up
Twitter
with the idea
Yeah,
of
I'll post it on
Atlantis.
Twitter.
So your flood control bill didn't make it out of the committee? Well, it's not the end of the world.
I'm gonna start by
Or
drawing
is it?
everybody's favorite fish.
So let's talk about Casey's story
God,
of the
that boomer
destruction
joke
of
was a little
Atlantis.
too much
He
even
said
for
there
me.
were 3 destructions.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
One of them
Can we
he
go
said
back?
I have
occurred
some
about
sympathy for
50,000
boomers, but that was
BC. There
fucking
were
bad.
About 21
Wait, can we go
readings
back? I wasn't
Yeah,
listening.
reference this. Casey's story.
Hi,
Flood
Ducky.
control bill didn't make it out. Someone sent me this cartoon. I thought, well, at least the mainstream is keeping up with the idea of Atlantis. So your flood control bill didn't make it out of the committee? Well,
Oh.
it's not the end of the world.
Groaners.
Or is it?
Well, listen to her,
So
listen to
let's talk about Casey's story of the destruction
Oh,
of
she really
Atlantis.
liked it.
He said there were 3 destructions.
All right,
course.
3
One of them, he
destructions
said,
of
occurred at
Atlantis.
about 50,000 BC. There were about 21 readings that reference this. And he said that in 50,000 BC there was a large...
Aliens
were a lot
versus
of large
sharks?
animals.
Good idea,
And there was an
Porum.
effort to try to annihilate them, to get rid of them. And in the process of that, they created some sort of an explosion or some sort of environmental upheaval that created a pole shift. But the one we're most concerned about
Wait,
in
what are you
our
drawing?
explorations is the
shark.
10,000 BC
Okay, I'm
destruction.
going to draw the alien then.
And that's where you get most of the Edgar Cayce readings. There were 352 readings that talked about some sort of catastrophe that happened in 10,000 BC. And we don't know what it was. We don't know if it was a comet, a tsunami, whether it was global warming or an earthquake.
And this
Also,
one,
Ducky, to answer
If you
your
were
what the fuck are we
watching
doing
the
today? We're
Indonesia,
drawing
tsunami,
things,
what,
and we're
2004,
watching
you
these
realize how
conspiracy
destructive
videos and getting woke.
that kind of a force
Yeah,
is, that
basically.
it could just about wiped out all sign of civilization. But what we know from the Cayce readings is that there was some
This
kind
alien's
of
gonna be
warning.
in,
Whatever this
his
thing
spaceship.
was, they knew it was about to happen. And they knew it, so they decided that in order to
Wait, how the fuck-
maintain a record of their civilization, that they
He looks
would
like he's on a
create
volcano.
these 3 halls of records. And we're going to talk about those.
No, it looks like a spaceship to me.
Kind of.
And these halls of records, what are in those records? Well, they wanted to, first of all, preserve their history. And in the readings,
There we
it
go.
says that in these halls of records are tablets, and that there'll be
The
32
emerald
of these
tablets?
tablets or plates that are found.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
32
they
of
also
these
talk
plates.
about that it's going to be a little bit difficult to tell what
32
what
plates?
those tablets
That's what they
say.
said.
They're
That sounds
gonna
like
be
when
in
I went to
Egyptian,
sushi
early
last
Egyptian.
conveyor belt
We're
sushi.
going to have some Atlantean language.
I
in
wanna
them, so
go
it's
to
going to take a little while for us to translate and know what they
Good
mean.
night, Sky.
Nighty night, Sky.
Okay, so the second place Cayce identifies as a location of a Hall of Records is in the Bahamas, in Bimini. He says the one in the Atlantean land that sank, that will rise and is
This is gonna be one of those
rising
shitty
again.
UFOs that
And
has like
that
arms on it.
is,
I hate that device in
the area of the
cartoons.
Bahamas and Cuba
But
is
I'm gonna
where
do it
he
anyways.
considered the Atlantean continent to have been.
Oh, those little arms. Yeah,
He
yeah.
even
Yeah.
mentions Bimini specifically.
a really epic
It says,
idea
in the
for it.
sunken portions of Atlantis or Poseidia, where a portion of the temples may yet be discovered under the slime of ages of seawater.
And there's a really good
We
reason
can
why.
tell you there's lots of slime under that seawater, lots of coral near what is known as Bimini off the coast of Florida. So just for a little geography here, this is Florida. This is around Miami area, and Bimini
'Cause this
is
alien
right
has a
about
gun.
here. This is Cuba.
He's got a gun.
That's
and if
right.
you'll notice, the brownish areas
He's got a
are
fucking
where
gun,
you
he's gonna
have
shoot that
land
shark.
above the water. This light blue area here is called the Great Bahama Bank, and it actually was above the sea level in 10,000 BC. This would have been an entire island, all of this area, and over here in the top part as well. All right, so what's been going on at ARE, in the Edgar Cayce's ARE with Atlantis research, rather.
Atlantis. I should spell
Alright.
Atlantis right.
So when you're going to do research to try to find Atlantis in Bimini, what are you going to look for?
Oh, that shark's got a
The
bigger
lost
gun.
continent?
Oh shit.
He's got a
Of
machine
Atlantis?
gun.
And of course
Oh,
you think,
fuck.
well, we're going to find a sign there that says Atlantis right here. No, probably not. What is going to be left after 10,000 years? And what's going to be left underwater after 10,000 years?
This is Florida.
Well, the best you
Yeah.
can hope for would be the remains
Florida
of
was left after?
buildings.
That
Stone
explains a
will
lot.
usually last underwater. You have a problem with it gaining coral debris, but in some places, if it's been able to be under the sand for a long period of time, you might be able to find something that can appear to be a building. So once again, here's our map. This is Bimini, this is Miami, this is the Gulf
What the hell, is that
Stream,
me?
all through here.
No, it's
all
just
of this
SpongeBob.
white part,
Oh, okay.
or, I'm sorry, light blue part.
Battle for
is the
Bikini
Great
Bottom.
Bahama Bank, and you can
He's
see what a
obviously being
line this is
abducted.
along here.
What if Bikini Bottom
all
was
of a
real?
sudden it gets extremely
Oh
deep.
my god.
Heavy machine
You don't
gun.
know.
And
Rocket
this
launcher.
Water
Have you
right
seen
through
it?
here moves extremely
No.
fast.
They can't say it's not real.
Right, so here's where
Hold on,
you
she's
can
talking
see
about the
it a little bit
pyramids off
better.
of Florida?
Yeah, Florida.
All right, so what kinds of things have been found at Bimini? Well, probably most of you are familiar with the Bimini Road. So here's the Paradise Point Pier, a little bit closer, and I don't know if you can see very well on
Oh,
here,
shit.
but all of these are
This alien's
just
abducting
huge,
SpongeBob?
Yeah.
rectangular rocks that are set on the seafloor. And this is about 15 feet in depth. What I thought was interesting, this is an aerial view of a harbor in in Corinth, Greece, that was built in about 600 BC. This is what remains of it. But you can see, again, all of these rectangular rocks. It's a little bit blurry, but just to give you an idea. And they find these ancient
Save SpongeBob, please. He has
harbors
TV
all
treasure.
over
More like a cash cow.
Yeah,
Mediterranean.
the Atlanteans know he's
Many
a cash
of them are
cow.
Phoenician, go back even
They need
further
that
than
sweet,
600
sweet
BC.
Nickelodeon money.
This is a
If
close-up of
the
the
aliens
Paradise
win, then
Point Pier,
SpongeBob
which
runs
looks
for
very
another
much
100
like the Bimini
seasons. If
Road.
the Sharks wins, then they finally let him die, and they
One of the things we found that
they
we thought was
delete
very
all of the
telling was an
episodes after the
anchor
movie.
stone on
they
the
save
Paradise Point
they
Pier.
save SpongeBob.
And you see this stone. This is what it looked like when we ran into it. And then we pulled it up, and you can see rope grooves on each side and a hole drilled. And you think, well, why do you think that's an anchor? Well, in the harbors in the Mediterranean, the Phoenicians made very similar anchors.
Mm-hmm. The
And
anchors.
these are examples.
Anchors.
All right, so once more, the Bimini Road. This is a boat. The Bimini Road is an inverted J. We're getting a little closer to it. You can see
The
was a
shark
very,
has an anchor
clear
on
day,
because it's limiting his power.
water-wise, so you can
Oh,
And
see
he's
okay.
going to
through.
take it off at some
If
point
you
in
look
the
really
episode.
Oh, like
closely, you
Rock
can see
Lee or
Greg
whatever his
swimming
name
down
was.
Here, I'm up in the
Yeah, he's
helicopter.
going to go ultra
I
instinct.
think I see
shit.
his mustache in there somewhere.
Whose
But
mustache?
this is what we think it looked like back in 6000 BC. When you look at sea levels, this is about, again, 10 to 15 feet. And in 10,000 BC, it would not have been
Oh, that's like a
appropriate
real
for that
anchor,
to
not
have
like
been
a
breakwater.
Phoenician
No,
anchor.
not like
We're
the
looking for
Phoenician
something
anchor.
in
It's a real
10,000
one.
BC
Okay.
to find
Okay,
something that
okay.
was there before the final destruction of Atlantis. But what was there in 6000 BC? Well, according to the archaeologists, if you ask look at the history of the Bahamas, they tell you there was no one in the Bahamas before 500 AD.
Well, I'm gonna
That
draw.
makes no sense, and I'll tell you why.
Well, don't look yet.
The water level was
Oh,
much
okay,
higher.
let me
The
zoom in
distance
so I
right
can't
now
see
between
yours.
Miami and
Unless you're
Florida
talking
and
to your
Bimini
chat.
is 50 miles.
No, I'm talking to you.
We know that there were people who came over to
I'll be up here by
Andros
the
in the
alien.
Bahamas in the 1800s to escape the slave problems that were going on in the United States.
This is your chat,
and
by
they
the
came
way.
over in canoes.
This
We
is your
know
stream.
that they could
This
have
is
made
my
that
stream?
journey in
Okay.
canoes. So why is there no evidence in the Bahamas
Training like
before
Goku?
500
Exactly,
AD
yes.
of any sort of
Worm, you always
Native
get it.
American presence? And we believe that the reason is that there were probably regular cyclic catastrophes, maybe hurricanes, maybe tsunamis, but something that just not only got rid of the people, but got rid of any sign of the people. And again, if you look back at the Indonesian tsunami, you can see how terribly
Is
destructive
that a gyroid?
that sort
Oh,
of force
maybe I
can
shouldn't
be.
read that.
So this is a breakwater.
Unless you're
We
talking
were
about my
watching
drawing form.
one of the channels, I guess History Channel, a few years ago, and we saw these divers, and it looked like they were on the Bimini Road. We saw the rectangular rocks and so forth that look just like what we see when we dive on the Bimini Road. And we watched for a little while. We wondered, who's looking at the Bimini Road now? And all of a sudden, the announcer came on. They were in the Mediterranean looking at ancient Phoenician harbors. All right. All right, so the
I'm
next
making,
thing we found was
a duck.
columns and walls at the 15 to 20 foot depth. And they were quite interesting. Actually, our Bahamian colleagues, Esley and Krista Brown, found them. And they are pretty
All
compelling.
right, I've added an anchor to your
You see
anchor.
this looks like a wall here, and this is just
Oh, no, are you
limestone,
limiting
which
his
is what
power?
you find all
Yes,
over.
even
It is
further.
a gyroid.
Interesting thing is,
I'm rigging
2
the
years
fight
later,
against.
it's
the
been-
shark.
all the
Against the
sand has
shark.
been blown back.
'Cause he's got-
onto
look at that
it.
gun
There've
he's
been,
got,
yes,
dude.
hurricanes come through.
It's a big
storms come
gun.
through. And that's the interesting thing.
And
the
this-
hurricanes that
this
come
alien
through
only
will
has,
open
like,
up
a
things
shitty
and they'll
looking
close
Glock.
things. Now there was enough interest in that particular site that there was a sampling done
And then there's
of what we
Ducky.
called the columns,
There's a duck up there.
and they were determined to be anywhere from 21 to
Ducky.
20,000
And some
BC.
bubbles.
Yeah, some
And
bubbles.
limestone, as you know, can
Uh-oh,
be
let me add
dated
it, let me
because it
add
does
it.
have organic matter
Are
in
you
it.
adding?
Doesn't mean that it was placed there at
Oh,
this
you'll
time
see.
frame, but we at least know
Okay.
that particular piece of limestone is that old. So still, doesn't prove anything. And I'm showing you the old research that we've done
that's
to
good.
show you how
Yeah.
truly magnificent
a whole
the new
loaf.
research is.
Stucky's still here.
So the
Nah.
next thing we decided to do,
She
though,
couldn't
before
handle the
really great
wokeness.
research, is we decided to look on the Great Bahama Bank. So in 2008, we did an aerial survey. We started in Fort Lauderdale, went all the way over Andros, and came over this area of the Great Bahama Bank. And what we were looking for
She's probably fine.
were
The
the
Johnny's.
black
Sorry
spots that
about
we were
it.
seeing from the air anytime that we were flying over.
Can the duck breathe?
And what those black spots are is where seagrass is growing on some sort of
I was under the
stone.
impression this was happening
So
like
again, we're
above the
looking for
waters
building
of
stones.
Atlantis.
We figure, okay, if this was Atlantis in 10,000 BC, it was above
Maybe.
the water line, there'll be houses, or maybe there'll be some
Are you saying you don't like
remnant
this
of
video?
houses, and maybe some of these black spots that you see all over the place could possibly
me or
be
someone in the
the
chat?
remnants of
What are
a
you?
building.
That's not
This
what it
was
says at all.
one that we saw.
Okay.
I'm just
that
saying
we
I thought
thought
the
was
battle was
interesting.
taking like
Later,
they were like
what we
above the
would do
water.
Oh,
is
this
fly
this
over,
battle.
Like the shark was
get as
flying
close as
and
we could over it, do the GPS.
Yeah, they're underwater. Wait, it's
actually, we
over
use the
water?
GPS
Okay,
of
they're
the
over
plane.
water.
No,
We
it's
write 'em
underwater, you're
down
right.
very quickly, take pictures so we
I was
know
gonna
kinda
add
what
a
the
thing to them
formation
earlier
was
and
that
I
we were
forgot.
looking for. And then we come back on a boat later and try to locate
There you
them in the sea. And it was, thanks to our Bahamian colleagues, it wasn't as difficult as it might seem. So this is one that we had identified
Now
from
he's
the
got,
air.
like,
We came back to it.
glass
And what
around
was
his head so he
interesting
could breathe in
is
the
that
water.
it does have a rise in the middle.
Yeah,
It has
my
a
bad,
white
it's
line
underwater.
around the edge, but we still did not see
Oh, whoops, I
any
erased the
particular
eye of my
stones in
gyroid.
it.
I must have controlled Z'd.
So just another example. This is one that looks like it has an eye in it. It's like almost like a fish. There's really some odd shapes. So after going through all of those black spots all over the Great Bahama Bank, we could see why they were so excited and why they felt like they needed to send us those pictures right away. Well, just like almost every site that we've come to, there's always something that makes it a little bit difficult. And in this particular site, you can only dive on it for about 90 minutes, twice a day.
After this drawing
it's
is
right
finished,
on
this
the
lady
edge
needs
of
to
the Great
present
Bahama
it
Bank
to
and the Gulf
the
Stream,
Atlantis
and the water
conference.
comes across there when the tides
She
change
should.
Yeah.
so powerfully. You know, I thought they
I'm
were
doing her a
exaggerating until
service
I
right
stayed
now.
a little bit too long past the 90 minutes the first time and I felt the power of that current go through. It's really something. But the good part about that particular current is that it has kept coral from growing on this particular site. So you've got water that washes across twice a day, every day, or every 24 hours. So our goals in 2012 were measure the site, measure individual stones, do a sampling and analysis. What are these stones made of? So we measured the site. And this is basically what it looks like from the boat. And let's see if my video is going to work here. So we looked down on it for the first time. And you can see some of the stones to the water. They're pretty close to the top of the surface. They're about 6 feet. Okay. So this is a rough map. We could map the sides of it. We think it's about 535 feet from east to west and about 140 to 160 feet from north to south. It's a huge site. When you get down and dive on it, you see that it's got a tremendous amount of really dense, huge stones in this area. And then more stones up in the lighter brown area that are kind of scattered. You can see some sand between them, but this begins to stack up. This actually becomes almost like a hill. Okay, and now I'm going to take you on a little swimming voyage.
All right,
You don't even
Ducky
have
can
to
breathe
get
now.
wet.
We're going on a
This is an
swimming
overview of the
voyage.
site. We're going to start at a particular feature. You know, when you see so many stones, it's hard to identify where you are when you're diving. So we named some of the stones. This one we call the beam. There's one that we call the refrigerator, which is the largest one. And then you'll see as Esley Brown is swimming along that you'll follow a shark, and the shark will take you. It's just an earth shark. The shark will take you through the site.
This one seems like really normal. This is just like some underwater shit that they found. I haven't heard her talk
Sorry about
about
that at home.
Atlantis
The
or
writing
aliens.
wasn't on it, so you're not going to be able to see
Yeah,
it
not
quite
really.
as
She's
well.
just talking about how it was ruined one time.
So this is Esley Brown swimming over the
She mentioned
sites,
some tablets
just
once.
to give you an idea.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe that's later.
And this is one of those rounded stones.
Read some comments.
It looks like a.
What a beautiful woman. She seems very
You can
classy,
also see
knowledgeable,
this
and I
one
love her
is
accent.
rounded.
Says the guy with no shirt on,
Lots of these
flexing his
stones
muscles. Thank you, Justin.
appear to be.
Thank you for
This
an
is
update on
one
these
of
very
the
compelling
pillars
findings. There are those that
floating.
block the studies. Indeed, Frank Velek. Zahi Swas is a criminal puppet of the elite. Pharaonic bloodlines. Ooh, that's interesting. Her bloodlines with the pharaohs, guarding us from the Earth's true origins, as is the Vatican in their basement, Hall of Records, as the Swiss Templars stash their treasure inside the Swiss Alps. Now, those are the comments we like to see over here. That's good shit.
Okay, and that's what we call the refrigerator stone.
Those
right
are my
here.
favorite kinds of comments.
It's the size of a refrigerator. We'll show you the measurements in a minute.
Those are the ones that, like, I want to believe is real. I want to believe everyone's got, like, every organization is super corrupt and fucked up and hiding the
there
truth.
we go, and there's the shark has shown up.
But I don't actually believe it.
And then I kind of get focused on him as I'm moving the camera. But the great thing is that you can begin to see.
Look at that. How do you
many
contact these
stones
people?
there
There's
are.
stuff I
This
found
is a
off coast of
huge
Fort Walton
site.
Beach have pictures and location
And
of
every
them.
so often you can see
Imagine
the
like they
edge up
get in
here
contact with this lady
where it goes
and
off to the sand.
she has like a bunch of she has like a bucket full of like rusted trash, and it's like a Game Boy case or something.
Garfield
A
phone!
couple of years looking at
You
the
know
Great
the
Bahama
Garfield
Bank,
phone
looking for
story?
something, you know, just a.
So there is this shipment. Let me get you a picture of the Garfield.
Should I just Google it?
Yeah, just Google Garfield phone.
Oh my god.
So the type in Garfield phone. Oh, there it is. It's right there on the beach. Yeah. So
Why
there's a
have
shipment-
Garfield phones been washing a short pants?
There's a shipment of Garfield phones from like the 90s.
And it just like
Or
it's finally
something.
washing up.
Yeah.
Or for the
They're
last
just
30 years.
finding, like, Garfield phones now.
The mystery has been solved, but environmental advocates aren't celebrating. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, what if
She's got Garfield phone.
she's got the Garfield phone and it's like, maybe to her credit, maybe it's like really worn away. She's like, oh my golly, I found something interesting. And then they contact her and they go and see her and it's like, it's just fucking this. Let's see. The breakthrough in the case came in the publication. France Info reported on the Garfields as part of a campaign called Pollution Alert.
Oh, you know, I don't know if it's really considered a conspiracy. It's just kind of like a spooky thing that happened. Have you heard of Random Nautica?
No.
Okay, so there is this app that you can download that you type in like what you're looking for, like you type in fun or something,
Okay.
and it gives you coordinates nearby,
Oh god.
and you go there and you're supposed to find the thing you're looking for. And someone typed in death, or this group of teens, and it led them to this pier. I can't remember what state it was in. And they find this suitcase at the coordinates, like washed up on the side of the shore. And they're all joking about, oh, hey, it's probably a dead body. And they open it up and it like stinks really bad. And hey, it turns out it was a dead body. So,
Wait, how does this work with the coordinates?
Randonautica. Oh, it's take out that. Yeah, there you go. So there was like this. These people kept making all these videos about like, oh, this app is cursed. It led me here, and this scary thing happened.
The app of the summer is just a random number generator.
Yeah.
What is Randonautica, the new app that led teens to a dead body?
Yeah, it like literally did. And then other people kept posting things about it and saying that the app was haunted.
App was programmed with both quantum physics and spirituality in mind. I bet Billy Carson is a fan of this app.
He probably is. See, I don't know a lot about
Prompting
conspiracies,
them to
but
call it. Yep,
I
the
do
smell
like
was in
spooky
fact coming from a
stuff.
dead body in the suitcase. Wait, so then who put in the coordinates or something?
One of the teens.
Wait, what?
Because you just you type in a thing you want to find, and it'll give you some coordinates to go to.
So was it a pure coincidence that they found a dead body, or did someone who killed someone like put them in the app to like lure someone to go find it or something, or like I don't. That's what I.
I
don't
mean,
get.
it's a coincidence,
Oh,
but
it's just
like
a
other people
coincidence.
took it as a conspiracy, and they're like, "Oh, the app knew," you know.
Yeah, okay. I see.
I was watching videos about that for a while.
How
It was
much of a
fun.
dead body was in a suitcase? Like an arm?
2 entire people,
2 entire people? No, you're just fucking with
or at
me.
least two parts of 2 people.
Really?
Yeah, there's 2 people in the suitcase, but I don't know if
Can
it
we
was
look
the
up
whole
gore
body.
images on twitch.org? Look at
Maybe not. I don't think there shows any pictures though, because it was like actual
I want to
news.
download this app. I want it.
It's not actually haunted.
There are a bunch of huge Lego people in the ocean too, and a bunch of rubber duckies floating. Dude, there is a bunch of people in the ocean though, dude. Check this out, dude.
Whoa, that's spooky. The ones around the table.
Yeah. I mean, this is known. This is just like some art project shit, or it's like
I
a
forgot I
museum or
wanted to
something.
draw Pyramid Head in the last picture.
But it's pretty spooky nonetheless if like someone found this shit in the future.
Yeah, it is pretty spooky.
I haven't read into it, but I imagine they drop a bunch of shit in there and then you pay and you get to scuba dive and go check it out. It's pretty cool.
It looks neat.
Yeah, it looks pretty
I
neat.
mean, also spooky, but
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine actually being there.
Some interesting Instagram photos. Selfies with the statues. Some of them are almost comical. Like I don't know about this shit with the guy watching the TV. Like that's so corny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a critique of society. He's watching TV. Oh boy. Jesus underwater.
They're gonna put people with phones down there next.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a statue of a girl with a phone, and then the phone is like has a leash around her, and then the phone says Facebook on it. Anyways.
Yeah, the Garfield phone though.
Oh boy.
A fraction of this amount of stone, we were overwhelmed. You can see huge, huge stones. All of these, look at these flat rectangular stones. And they do seem like they've been pushed down. Okay, this is the edge over here where it becomes mostly sand. You can see where we came back from it. Okay, just an idea of what it looks like. So this is an overview of where we just went on the dive. We started at the beam stone, went to the double columns, the refrigerator, and then sort of into the middle of the site. So we decided we needed to measure the stones. We picked 4 iconic stones. We named them the refrigerator. This is the refrigerator because that's how large it was. The beam, this one is the beam.
It looks kind of like the
double
refrigerator.
fluted columns. And this one of the double fluted.
I don't know why my tablet will like undo twice when I only click it once.
And the other one, the larger rounded
Kind of silly.
Oh, that's kind of annoying.
column.
Yeah.
This just gives you an idea of roughly where they are, and they're all kind of in one particular area. Remember, we only have 90 minutes to go in and do this. Okay, so we determined that the refrigerator stone was about 8 feet by almost 4 feet, 3 feet 3 inches. Its thickness was 1 foot. The beam was 2 feet by 8 feet. The double fluted columns, the bullet and the larger rounded, were 2 feet by 1 foot, and the large rounded was 1 foot by 4 feet.
Omari would totally be in here, huh?
And there's a side view of it.
The only question is, do we
You
give
can
her
really see in
the
that
sword
side
dick or
view
no?
again.
Good
I
question.
can see it better on my screen than you guys can, but again, you can really see the fluting through here. That's a really unusual
I think we're
feature.
gonna say no for this one.
All right, so what really got exciting is that we sampled the stones to see what they were. And the nice thing is it's not an archaeological site until it is an archaeological site. That's kind of the paradox. So we know now it is an archaeological site. So we sampled all 4 of those particular rocks that I just showed you, and we found out, we sent them off to be analyzed. The rock type is Biotite, Quartz, Schist. You have to say schist very carefully. And what
Got
is
him.
schist? Okay,
Schist.
it has a lot of different things in it. There's lots of different kinds of schist. This particular one
Schist.
is called a Biotite quartz schist. It had Biotite,
Schist.
feldspar, quartz, chlorite, garnet.
Schist.
It's a metamorphic rock.
metaphoric
which means
rock.
It was what? Created by pressure. It commonly contains all of these particular
How does a rock be
minerals, including
metaphorical?
sometimes magnetite, which I thought was interesting. So where do you get that?
You know.
Is there any schist, I have to say it carefully, in Bimini?
Yeah, she loves
No,
that
there's
shit.
not. There's not any in the Bahamas.
Yeah,
The closest
don't
source
say
is
shit
Jamaica,
on
but
accident,
it's a quarry
lady.
that's way up at the
That's
top
a
of a
no-no.
mountain, and there's no evidence that anyone has done any great quarrying there. Hispaniola in the Dominican Republic has some that matches this
Oh my God, I had
particular
this
type of
this
schist.
history teacher I
There's
hated
some
in high school,
Maine
man.
And some in England.
Sucked.
So maybe you guys
And he'd always call the girls
it's
dynamite.
a long way
and it was
for
really
an
weird.
awful lot of stone.
What?
And one of the things
Like
we
the girls
realized
specifically?
is that
Yeah, only the girls.
with
Well,
this
I mean,
type of stone,
yeah,
a stone the
just the
size
girls.
of
And,
the refrigerator is
it just sounded like he was always hitting on them
multi-tons.
because of it.
So if you're carrying
then,
that kind of a load over to the Bahamas,
it's like really weird. That's like
carrying it
someone
over
you.
for a really important
It's like what you call
reason.
someone who you like.
Now, this gives you an idea. Here's Brown's
some
Ruins
hoe-
over here. Here's
hoe that
Jamaica.
you
Here's Hispaniola.
sex with.
That's even a long distance to be carrying
call 'em
it. But
dynamite?
it's not likely
call
it
'em
came from
dynamite.
those sources. So
I've
we
never been
talked to a
called dynamite
professor of
before.
geology in
Yeah.
Miami. He said, the rocks
Anyhow,
seem large, and he says they
He
do seem to be
he got mad at me once because I
quarried for a
wrote The
particular
Fresh Prince of
purpose.
Bel-Air
Most
instead of
intriguing.
an essay about Obama that he wanted me to write. And
So,
then,
Bahamas
but that wasn't
Hall
the
of
main story.
Records,
The
as
story was that
Casey
he always had
says,
this fucking
may
joke.
yet be discovered under the slime
say,
of
"There's two
ages of
things about
seawater
getting
near
old.
what is known as Bimini, and this is
One
very
is
near
you start
Bimini.
to forget stuff.
We think it's probably the
And
best
two,
example of
I
an
can't
underwater
remember.
building that we have found so far.
And
this is
he
a,
would tell
a
it
really
so many fucking times
artistic
that
but possible reconstruction of Brown's Ruins.
he would like. It was what bothered me, and this
so
is
what
so
are our
stupid.
plans for
But
the future? Well, we really need to do a more detailed
when he would
mapping
do
of
the
Brown's
punchline,
Ruins. We need to sample
and two, he'd wait
the
a beat,
stones,
like
for analysis
it's
in a
gonna- here it
broader
comes.
area. We were
I
mostly
can't
on one
remember.
side, but
But it's like
every
you
one of
obviously
those
remember the
samples was
punchline.
The exact same type of stone.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
saying it that
Virtually
way,
the
like
whole
you're supposed to
site
be like
is
a
the
number
same
two.
type of schist.
Oh, I can't remember.
Shipwreck research,
Something like that, like-
and ideally a side scan
But he was being
sonar,
such a
and then you can
fucking
carbon date
showboat
coral,
about. I hate
and
him
it'd be
so much.
interesting to
I
see
don't know.
how old that coral
really dumb.
is.
Thanks for coming to my TED
We'll
talk.
get any dates. All right, so remember there were 3 places that Edgar Casey said the Hall of Records were placed. One was the Yucatan,
Great
one
Steve-O,
was the
that one,
Bahamas,
it's
and the
probably
third one was
overused.
Egypt.
It's fine
And
if
so
you do it
probably
once.
heard
Steve-O, you should
Laval's
really
work
forget
and
that
Hancock's
joke.
work about what ARE has done through the years, what the Edgar Casey organization has
thank you,
done looking
Vaginis.
for the Hall of Records really
We're
since the
trying
50s.
very hard.
Edgar Casey's son, Hugh Lynn, was very interested in this, and he's the one who really formed a relationship with Zahi Hawass back in those days, helped him get through school, and Mark Lehner was a member of ARE for many, many years. The Egyptian Hall of Records, according to the Casey readings, he gives you some pretty specific stuff. He says it's from the chambers of the way between the Sphinx. So the Sphinx is a real important piece of this.
Oh, we're going back to
And the
Egypt.
Pyramid of Records.
Dude, we're always going back to
Pyramid of
Egypt, I
Records, we
swear.
think, is a pyramid that may be underground somewhere that holds the Hall of Records.
The Hall of Records.
And this
Hold
is-
on, we're going
is
back, we're
Just
going
a
back,
look
we're
at the
going back.
whole.
I think we need to make the Hall
One
of
of those
Records.
samples was the exact same type. We think
Oh,
it's
what was she saying
probably
here?
the best example of an underwater building that we have found so far. And this is a really poor artistic but possible reconstruction of Brown's ruins. Okay, so what are our plans for the future? Well, we really need to do a more detailed mapping of Brown's ruins. We need to sample the stones for analysis in a broader area. We were mostly on one side, but every one of those samples was the exact same type of stone, and we believe the whole site is the same type of schist. We need to do more shipwreck research and ideally a side scan sonar, and then you can carbon date coral, and it'd be interesting to see how old that coral is. See if we can get any dates. All right, so remember there were 3 places that Edgar Cayce said the Hall of Records were placed. One was the Yucatan, one was the Bahamas, and the third one was Egypt. And so you're probably familiar through Baval's work and Hancock's work about what ARE has done through the years, what the Edgar Cayce organization has done looking for the Hall of Records really since the 50s. Edgar Cayce's son, Hugh Lynn, was very interested in this, and he's the one who really formed a relationship with Zahi Hawass back in those days, helped him get through school, and Mark Lehner was a member of ARE for many, many years. The Egyptian Hall of Records, according to the Cayce readings, he gives you some pretty specific stuff. He
Tell it
says
to me. What's happening?
It's from the chambers of the way between the Sphinx. So the Sphinx is a real important piece of
Oh, my
this,
Garfield looks like shit
and
now
the
that I try to color
pyramid
him
of
in.
records. The pyramid of records, we think, is a
haven't been
pyramid
coloring
that may
anything
be
in 'cause it
underground
doesn't-
somewhere
you could make
that
another
holds
layer.
the Hall of Records.
No, it's too late.
Yeah,
Here, it looks like
we'll
shit.
read the
There's
shit out of
just
them.
a look
Looks
at
like
the whole
shit.
Giza Plateau. He says for the
You'll
later
see-
pyramids,
Oh, I
of
accidentally
those
pressed
yet
redo, and I
not
think that nullified my
uncovered
undo.
that have been spoken of
Oh, no.
between
That's
the
a pain.
Sphinx, or the mystery, he calls the Sphinx the mystery, and the Nile, or the river. So the Nile used to run, here's the Sphinx, the Nile used to run where you see all of this city over here. It's now further east. But this is the Sphinx, this is the Great Pyramid, this is the second pyramid.
I missed what this old bat was saying.
And,
Is she trying to say that the
So
rocks
river
at
used to run
Egypt are the
through
same as the
here,
ones in
and
the
he
water?
talks about the Sphinx right paw. which would
She
be
was saying that
over
there's
on
a
this
Hall of
side.
Records or
This would be a
something.
side of
and
I've
she
heard of
think-
that. I've heard of
So
that.
in this position,
Underground
as the
somewhere.
sun rises,
It's like something that they've been trying to find for
let's see.
years.
which may not
Indiana
be
Jones
entered.
and
He's
the Hall
talking
of
about the Hall
Records.
of Records from the connecting chambers from the Sphinx paw, the right paw, until the time has
And
been
I guess that
fulfilled. Well, maybe it has been fulfilled, maybe it hasn't. We've been
has something to do
wondering
with
if it has
Egypt.
not been fulfilled because we found that the doors were shutting in all 3 places. If you
I
know very
see.
much about what's going on in Guatemala,
I
you
see.
know their government is pretty much falling apart. It was already a pretty dangerous area when we went in 2004. And we could see on the Usumacinta River every day, 2 or 3 times a day, you'd see a boatload of people go by with backpacks. And we were assuming they were primarily immigrants coming up to the United States. Well, now we know that there were also, and continues to be, a lot of drug movement.
Need more aliens, I
along
think,
that
on the
river,
alien
and then
side.
up through Mexico and into the
Oh,
United
you're right.
States.
I was gonna draw Garfield
And
as like
the
this
government is
figure that
losing
like
control, it's
destroys all of
become
them.
an even more difficult area to
Oh,
enter.
draw him with tentacles.
The Bahamas,
Oh, no, I know exactly what
which
to draw 'em
I
with.
didn't
Hold
mention,
on.
the reason we have not done
Cornfield.
any further research on Brown's
Lasagna
ruins
cat.
is shortly after we
Seems like your
stopped,
cat.
or shortly after we found Brown's ruins, we called our friend who was an archaeologist who had been going with us on some of our expeditions when we needed a permit, and said, we need you to come with us. We found this incredible site. And he said, okay, let me just renew my archaeological permit. And he goes to do the renewal, and time goes by and time goes by. And finally he finds out that they've put a moratorium on all the permits. Everybody's permits is suspended. He's had one for 25 years. So we go in a little bit deeper and we find out that there was there was a group that had come in and found a shipwreck. And they'd had their permit, but when they when they found something, they took it back and they didn't give the portion to the Bahamas that they were supposed to give. Well, when we first started looking in the Bahamas, we were accused of looking for gold. We would tell people we were looking for Atlantis, and they'd say, yeah, right. What are you really looking for? And we would have to say, no, we're really looking, have you heard of Edgar Cayce? And go through the whole story, and they'd still just kind of shake their head. Because there were a lot of people who would go and find these shipwrecks that we did find evidence of, and never tell the Bahamian government what they were doing. So apparently somebody got caught, and that put a stop to everything, and they redid all of their regulations, and now their regulations are so tight. It's amazing. I think you have to get a permit for about a 1 mile square area, and you have to tell them in advance you have to get permission to go to that particular area where we used to go globally.
Been playing any VR, Sensei? I did buy Half-Life Alex 2 days ago.
An underwater
So,
Bahamian archaeologist.
I'll play
There's
that
very few underwater
one of these days. I haven't played it yet.
archaeologists, period, and there's only one Bahamian underwater archaeologist that
What'd you
we're
say?
aware of.
Can I play it on
You have to have a
stream?
regular archaeologist, and so on and so forth.
That's the
so that
idea. I didn't
it's
want to
really
play until
ponderous
I've got it
to
set
do
up.
any kind of
Anyways, I'm gonna drug
exploration.
Garfield
so
in the Merkaba.
We are to do it. So Egypt. So things are perking along in Egypt. And in fact, it was perking along partly because of Andrew Collins and because of Nigel. Their work with the
Perking along.
Cygnus mystery.
She
and
say
the
herking?
Deneb marked
She
the
said
entrance to a
perking.
cave,
Perking along.
the entrance to the Tomb of the Birds.
Is that what she said?
And that there is a cave system that runs really all across from the Tomb of the Birds all the way over to the Sphinx, to the exact area that Edgar Cayce talked about that contained the Hall of Records. And about the time that was really getting going, and here's a picture of Andrew. You've probably seen this through the years. I love this picture. This is Andrew. Tells you this is the great, right after you go through the tomb into the first large entrance, and then you go down through here into the really, really tricky areas where all the bat and the guano is, and the really dangerous area.
Oh, good. Thank you for
But it
mentioning
tells you there's an incredible
guano?
underground system
Yeah.
there in
Like in Ace
Giza.
Ventura.
About the time this got going, of course, Zahi was not willing to admit that
Is
it
that a
even existed
fractal?
for a while, but
No, this is
Nigel
supposed to
and
be,
Andrew were persistent with it. But then we had
the
the
Merkaba,
Egypt
the,
Spring,
Oh,
and
right.
chariots.
the uprising, and the change in the government.
Of God.
And the next government that took over really did not want to do any kind of excavations. Then they got rid of Zahi. Zahi got in trouble because he was so close to Mubarak. You all are probably more familiar with all of that than I am, and it just seemed like that Egypt was shut down. So here's
This
the
basically
third
means
Hall of
that
Records.
Garfield is
And
crazy
so I'm
divine right
thinking
now.
At the
Nice.
Edgar Cayce organization was that,
He's in
okay,
the,
time is not right.
triangle
the world's
hypercube.
not ready for the information.
I drew that one
So-
Patrick above him
You
for
see it
some
has a
reason.
Star of David shape.
I
The
do
most
see that.
recent thing that's happened,
Oh my God.
though, is that now that there's a
You
military
didn't see him?
government,
I see him
they
now.
realized that these discoveries were part of what was bringing in a lot of the tourists.
Hall of
Records.
Tourists into Egypt. So
Garfield
they have
stand.
seen the light, that they need to allow more excavations to go on, and if for no other reason but to bring in more income.
I'm gonna be lame and make this joke.
So even though they really want to focus mostly on Muslim and Islamic archaeology, they are willing for a consortium to get together, and there's a company called Scan Pyramids that was commissioned in
Good shot.
2015 to actually do what I call an X-ray of the Great Pyramid, and it involves 3 universities from Canada, Japan, and France, and they're actually using 3 different types of non-invasive, so they're not doing any drilling, they're not doing anything that's going to harm the monuments, but they're doing thermography, 3D simulation, and muon radiography imaging, so like an X-ray.
It's definitely not Pyramid Head as an
And
alien.
what they
Oh, God,
found is
okay.
pretty
I'll
exciting.
just mind my own business
They
over
found
here and come back.
two new
kidding.
anomalies. One on the east side, which is here. If you remember, the Sphinx is over in this
How
direction.
did we get to
and
Egypt
one on
after
the
she was
north
talking
side,
about?
where the entrance is.
Wasn't she talking about
So
Florida?
the first hot spot they found was on
Yeah,
the
she
east
started with
wall.
Florida,
It's down at the
and
bottom.
she said it
and it's
just like
kind of
that.
off almost toward the north
Florida.
side. This is
And
what
then
it
the
looks
rocks were the
like,
same or something.
without
Who
the
knows?
thermography on it. But this is what the hot spot looks like. And they believe there's some kind of cavern and maybe passageway through there. There's Zahi standing next to it. Now, what's Zahi got to do with it? Well,
I'll be honest, I don't
he's
remember
no
who she
longer,
said
of course, the
Zahi was,
director
but
of
she's
the
been
Giza
saying his name a
Plateau,
lot.
But they have
Yeah,
asked him
someone
to
in the
come
comments
and
talked
be a
about him.
part of this particular
Oh, this is the one who said
expedition,
Zahi
even though
Swass is a
he's
criminal
not
puppet of the
over it,
elite
but he's sort
Oh,
of the
yeah, that
public
guy
who
said
has
face
that.
a
of it,
pharaonic
because they realize he
bloodlines
has so many
guarding us
people
from
who know
Earth's true
who he
origins,
is,
as
and
is
he
the
knows
Vatican
how to
in their
get
basement.
people
Yeah, this is my
excited
favorite
about,
record.
new
Favorite comment.
discoveries. And they know that they need
Hall
to
of Records
bring
is the Swiss Templar
people's
stash their
interest
treasure
back
inside
to
the Swiss
Egypt
Alps.
to get people to come. So he's there
Probably true, bro.
in the picture, and also Mark Lehner, who was his assistant, has also been
Oh,
brought
good.
into this project. But it's really being done by Scan Pyramids.
I s-
Did you see that?
Then the north side,
yeah.
and
I
this
clicked
is
on
the
his
original,
profile,
the ancient
and what we
original
saw
Yeah.
was
This is not the one that
683
Morbius.
videos in Viki. Breast
And
appreciation,
breast
1.7
And one
thousand
called
videos.
Lil
Entrance,
Chipmunk
and
that
this is
has
the one
797.
as
What does mate
tourists.
mean? I don't want to
And,
know.
Oh
don't wanna
God.
And you can see,
Oh,
this really gives you
Jesus.
an idea, if you haven't been there, what a large monument
Right.
this is. And the interesting thing, and I've got
Quorum,
this
what do you mean
information
these
from
people are
John Van
crazy?
Auken, who is an ARE
These people are normal.
director at ARE, and he also
Hey, like a bot
oversees
called
our
Florida is
connection
in
to
here.
Egypt. And he's been in
Florida?
touch with Zahi
Don't
and
worry, I
has a
got
good
this one.
relationship with him, so he's getting this information. But the glyph that's at the top of the ancient entrance symbolizes horizon of heaven, which is
He must have heard us calling
It
him.
may also have something to do with an entrance to the Hall
I
of
guess he
Records,
did.
maybe.
We said Florida too many times.
Flyer-
There's
Florida.
a possible open space up there around where that glyph is, and this is what it looks like on the thermography.
Oh, whoops, I'm not on the video.
So,
oh, goodness.
so what they
God forbid we
think
missed
is
the
that there's
video.
a possible hidden passage right above that ancient entrance,
So much
Man, I've
information.
heard this shit
Glyph
in
is.
elementary school.
and then they think this could be a chamber.
Hidden
down here on the
passages and
east side,
chambers in the pyramids.
and it would be under
Come on,
that
Becky.
ancient entrance.
Teach us
So
something
the
we
next
don't.
step, and this is the great news, is they've Scan Pyramids has had their contract extended for a whole year, so that they can go internally into the Great Pyramid and see if they can map where these openings go and what they lead to. Now, again, this isn't the underground
Florida
caverns
woman.
that
Florida
Andrew
man.
discovered, Andrew and Nigel. But this is a start. This is finding something in the Great Pyramid that has not been found before. So it's really exciting, and it's exciting that they're allowing this to go on. And to me, it's exciting that these are mainstream people doing it, because that gives it a whole lot more credibility. I've always said that if Greg and I ever really found anything other, and we feel like we have with Brown's Ruins in the Bahamas, we hope that mainstream people will take up the charge, because those are the people who are going to be better believed than we would. All right, so one other thing, I asked John Van Auken the question, I said, well, what about the cave, the Tomb of the Birds and the cave that goes under Giza? Does he think that Zahi will ever go back to that? And his answer was that he asked the question, and they are interested, and they do plan to do something, but they say it'll probably be another year before they can take that step.
Zahi, you
So
fucking
it may
shyster.
be that everything's going to
Give us
open
the
back
secrets.
up in Egypt, and so I
Spill the
see that there are
beans.
tours planned
He's a
to
shill.
Egypt by some of the guys here.
He's a plant.
And I would say support
He won't tell
that
us
if you
the
feel
real
that
secrets of
it's
Atlantis,
safe enough for you to be there, because
whatever we're
that's
talking
going to
about.
bring all of this back alive again. If they
Yeah,
can see
whatever.
they can
The
get
Hall
our
of Records.
interest, they'll continue to do this kind of research.
We need to know about the Hall of Records.
Now, John
What's supposed to be in the Hall
wanted
of
to point
Records
out
again?
in his,
Man,
these are
I've
his
heard of that, I
slides that
swear.
I'm using here, that
I don't
this
remember what
same
she
type
said.
of radiography was used to find Nefertiti's tomb inside Tut's
Did you say
tomb.
titty?
Some of you may be familiar with
Nefertiti.
this, that they've realized that there's more there than just Tut's tomb. Amazing that it's taken this long to find. And they think it may be the tomb of Nefertiti. And you see it's attached to the sides. And what that gives you, though, is hope that possibly in the Great Pyramid there's more there than meets the eye. The chambers and shafts that we're all familiar with are probably not all that's in that particular site. And you realize how large that monument is. Who knows what else is inside?
I wonder how many like
And
archaeologists
does it
want to
go
go
the
to.
great, or to one of the
who
Hall
wanna
of
check out the
Records?
pyramids every
It's
year.
certainly possible.
Must be a lot of shit
All
to
right,
go
so if you
through.
have any interest in finding out more,
I can't
I've given you
imagine.
really a
Never
thumbnail
thought about
sketch
going
of
to the
all of these
pyramids
things.
personally.
You could probably, your best bet is down here, Atlantis
Do you even
in the
care about
Caribbean,
aliens? God.
which is one of Andrew Collins's many wonderful books.
You're okay, I
Cygnus
guess.
Mystery, And beneath the pyramids, all of these relate to the Hall of
Okay, I
Records.
drew him as an alien.
Greg and I have a book with John Van Auken on Edgar Casey's Atlantis that goes into a whole lot more
Pyramid
detail.
Head?
There's some
Yeah.
Edgar Casey's
Nice.
Story of the Soul, which gives you a
It's good,
really
yeah.
He
panoramic
became
view
Egyptian
of history
Pyramid
that's
Head.
different from what the mainstream gives us. Edgar Evans Casey, one of the sons of Edgar Casey, wrote a book really many years ago, Edgar Casey on Atlantis, and then he updated it about 10 years ago. And then there's a whole series of Edgar Casey readings just on
Dude, what do you bet
Atlantis.
that she had like an illicit relationship with that Zaki
And-
guy?
She
And if you want to
mentions
know
him a lot.
more, we post where
He
we
must have been
are
a
and what
fucking
we've been
rock
doing
star.
on AP Magazine info, or you can go to edgarcasey.org, and John Van Auken will keep you up to date on what's going on with the Egypt investigations.
With the Egypt.
Yeah, the Egypts.
All right. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, now which one do we watch? Gods and Robots.
Gods and Robots?
Is that what we're watching?
Oh no. An hour and 10
That one's
minutes.
an hour and 10.
Yeesh. Oh no. Ooh.
Was that a slug?
Yeah, that was like a slug.
I mean, a snail?
Oh, bro, don't tell me. See, this is what I was fucking talking about. I bet they're like looking at this vase and they're like, look at the way his muscles are on there. It's not normal. It's clearly it's
It's an ancient robot
here, look. They had
from
a
the
picture.
stars.
Where was it? Oh my god, that burning
Well,
bull
that's
thing
just
is
a
so
torture
fucked up, man.
device.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it really is.
Where was it? Did you see it? She had like a literal like sci-fi robot next to
No, I missed it.
damn, I can't find it.
It's hard to comb through an hour and 10-minute video.
Yeah. It was like some very sci-fi looking old depiction of like robots. And so like their body was all made up of like, you know, different pieces of armor kind of.
Oh.
And it looked kind of like the way the guy in the vase looked, like where his muscles are like very
Oh, so
defined by the outlines.
Yeah, I got you.
Where the fuck did he go? Dude, I'm kind of curious what she's on about. But I'd go for like the 20-minute version.
Is there a 20-minute version?
Dude, I want some crazy shit though, like crazy. Sieg.
Stuff that makes you think, you know?
Sieg.
So why are we talking about sage machines and torture devices from the
Sieg.
past?
Sieg Maru.
Sieg machine.
Sieg machines. Yeah, okay, let's look at what else we can look at. Oh, I'll show you the most batshit crazy one though. I think this is what it's called. Wait. Oh, it's like Secret History
Of the world?
It's like a cartoon that like takes like all of these conspiracies and like mashes it into the craziest fucking thing.
Oh, I'm interested.
Man, what the hell is it called? Oh, Hidden History of Mankind.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
Well, that's an hour-long cartoon.
This is a wacky one. We'll probably just watch some of it. He goes like 1,000,000 miles a minute.
Over the last few thousand years, we have warped our own history. Our stories of the past have been changed, altered, mistranslated, and completely been misunderstood as we rounded the curve on the precession of the equinox. Modern views of our history account for many things, but completely dismiss many very important pieces in the puzzle. For example, the pyramids of Giza. There is no modern theory that accounts for how these could have been made. Individually, each block cannot be pulled even with 50 men pulling it, let alone drag it for hundreds of miles and then stack them on top of each other 450 feet in the air, in such a precise way that even modern technology can't achieve. Not to mention having it lined up precisely with both Orion's belt, a golden mean and Fibonacci spiral, and be a primary nodal point of every sacred site on the planet. And that's just one example. Our history is not what we think. Many things that we've been led to believe to be true simply is not. This has got to be the biggest. The field of archaeology recently saw some monumental discoveries that are rocking the foundation of what we think we know about ourselves. Many ancient cities such as Babylon, Erech, and Akkad that were written about in the Bible and other ancient texts were always thought to be myths because no one could prove they existed. Then, one of them was found. This led to finding another, and then another. Inside one of these cities, archaeologists found thousands of cylindrical clay tablets hidden deep within the earth
This is
under
the
this
best I
ancient
came
city.
up with. Are you
The tablets were
happy?
completely covered in text, written in cuneiform,
Shark
and telling an ancient
tubers?
story that spans
Yeah,
back over
like
hundreds
sardines.
of thousands of years on this planet,
Oh.
describing the history of the Earth and the origins of the human race in great detail.
Yeah.
Best I could come
Now,
up with.
the first thing we all want
Can
to
of
do is
shark
just say that they were
tubers.
making things up. They didn't know the history of Earth, and they were
As
simply
I was
creating
drawing
tales to
Mari, I
explain where they
realized I
came
don't
from.
know that many
However,
fish
if this was
tubers.
true, how can we explain how they knew
Or
so many
sea
things about the
tubers.
universe that would seem impossible to know?
There's
Not
a
only
lot
did
of
the
them.
Dogons
They
know
don't
all
know
about the
very
distant
many.
planets in the solar system, but so did the Sumerians.
I don't know how
They
to draw
described them
a
all in
pole
great detail in
tab.
these Sumerian records. They also knew about the precession of the equinox.
That's about
That's a
right.
tough one for a historian to understand.
Yeah, that's
because
probably
it takes
it.
over 2,000 years of continuous
Yeah.
observation to actually learn that the
There's
Earth
a lot
has
of
a wobble.
space
The
right here. We gotta
Sumerians
put
had this
something here.
information from day
Yeah.
one of their civilization.
We already have
A
some
man named
aliens up
Zacharias Sitchin
here.
spent a long time transcribing
Pyramid
these
Head
texts
has a
and had
can
put
of
them all together in his
beans.
books. But many others have also done the same, and the interpretations are always very similar.
Sand
Not
Patrick.
only that, but Thoth has also
A
shared
duck.
information about this with us, and his account
It's
matches
a
the
good
Oh look,
tomato.
dude, he's talking about
Adamus and
the.
other channelings discuss it
Oh,
as
go
well.
back, go
If
back.
you see all of these records and sources, there is a huge connection between the stories. Now, this story having these texts and have put them all together in his books, but many others have also done the same, and the interpretations are always very similar. Not only that, but Thoth has also shared information
Thoth.
about this with us, and
That's
his
the
account
guy.
matches
The
the
emerald
Sumerian records.
tablets.
Adamus and other channelings discuss it as well. If you see all of
I
these
wanna
records
draw
and
you
sources,
as
there is a
Thoth.
huge connection
All right,
between the
do it.
stories.
Oh, that's a
Now,
good
This
idea.
story spans back hundreds of thousands of years into our past. It talks about Tiamat and Nibiru.
Wait,
the
do it over
Nephilim,
here,
seeding the human race,
so then that I
Okay.
can
Adam and
just
Eve,
we can just
and
clip
the
the
children
bottom.
of Lemuria. This portion of the story is really interesting, but
Okay,
not the
let
most
me.
crucial
I
to
need
know.
to find
We're
the
not going to be covering
reference
this at
image
this
of
time.
Thoth.
We are,
I wonder how
however,
you spell
going to be
that.
picking up the story at the end of Lemuria and discussing the events of Atlantis up to present day. What I'm going to tell you is a mix of what these records say, along with what Thoth has told us for some finer details.
There's
Please
Thoth.
have your own experience while watching this. I'm not going to tell you that this is fact. I am simply saying, decide
Okay,
for yourself.
I found him.
So Taka, you came to one of the most cracked out videos I've ever watched. I'm pretty sure it's satire, but I think it combines like all these fucking crazy conspiracies in one. Oh, it's really loud, yeah.
There was a time, long ago,
Well, it's
when
just that
humans
part.
existed at a very high
I don't know
level
why
of
that was so
consciousness.
loud.
We were interdimensional. We were very
Yeah,
psychic.
it's an old
We
video.
communicated through thought and emotion, much like how animals do
2000.
rather than speaking or writing, which would seem very primitive. We lived primarily on a large string of islands called Lemuria, but there was a consciousness
No
shift.
captions.
We moved up in consciousness, and the islands of Lemuria sank beneath the oceans. At the time of this shift, a new continent rose out of the waters. We called it Atlantis. Back in the early 1900s, the spiritual path of the United States was similar to what's happening today. People began to learn about meditation and study ancient lands like Atlantis and Lemuria. We actually found quite a bit of evidence that Lemuria existed, and it had to do with coral. See, the ocean floor does rise and fall. Coral
Did
can
you keep
exist up
talking
to
about
150 feet under the surface of the
Always
water.
talking about coral,
In
dude.
1910, the surface of
They
the
are.
ocean was probably
Coral has
higher
all the
because they
secrets.
were able to see coral rings
Learning
heading
about
away from
coral.
Easter Islands for a great distance. These rings were estimated to be found at 1,800 feet, which means that for them to have existed,
Dude, I'm gonna look
had to
so
be much
fucking
higher
wise.
and sunk slowly. More important, we also found the exact same fauna and flora from the Hawaiian Islands all the way to the Easter Islands. This is a great distance, but if you look at the map, you'll see a long string. That string, according
Can't
to
wait.
Thoth, used to run.
I
on
better
the
be
western
holding
shores
those
of
emerald
Lemuria.
tablets too.
It is only on these islands that have the same
I
flora and
got
fauna,
you.
same trees, bacteria, everything. Science can only explain this if there were closer land bridges
Do you want
between
them
these
like
islands at one point.
muscles?
Although we were studying
Like
this
what?
at that time, World War I
Like the
began soon
muscles
after, and we
this
lost
dude
interest in
has?
spirituality
Yeah.
and the ancient lands. for a long time. After the sinking of Lemuria and the rising of Atlantis, at first the human race
I know what you're
became
talking
scattered.
about now. He's
We
got like
moved to
big
various
beefy
islands
arms,
and
right?
continents all over the world
Yeah,
because we
you
didn't
do.
have a home yet. We didn't know where to go. At that time, there were about 1,000 humans at a very high consciousness, more than all of the rest. They were called the Nakals. Today, we know them as Ascended Masters. The Nakals began preparing Atlantis to be our new home. They projected their energies across the surface of the continent in the form of the Tree of Life, not with 10 circles, but with 12, an extra on top on the island of Udal, and an extra on the bottom in the water. There were 10 components on the mainland, and even though it extended over hundreds of miles on the surface, it was projected to the accuracy of a single atom. We chose to move to Atlantis because of the Kundalini. In humans, the Kundalini is often referred to as the energy serpent that runs up and down your spine. When activated, it provides an immense amount of energy through all
I have
of
an
the
energy
chakras.
serpent?
The Earth
You do,
itself
bro.
also has a Kundalini
my
because
God.
the Earth is alive, like an organism, running from the center of the planet to a specific place on the surface. Wherever the Kundalini resides, the people there become the spiritual leaders of the world. The Earth chose Atlantis to be the new energetic
I think
center of
Atlantis
the
turned
planet.
into Cracker Barrel.
After Atlantis, the Kundalini moved
What's
to the
Cracker
mountains
Barrel,
of Tibet,
Siege?
which is why the Buddhists were the leaders in
It's
pure
a-
Is that a
spirituality for the
restaurant?
last 13,000
It's a
years. It
restaurant.
was a very pure place. It moved again within the last 10 years, but that's a story for another time. If you want to read more, check out the book The Serpent of Light by Drunvalo Melchizedek. Suddenly, in a single day, the Nakals breathed life into the Tree of Life on the surface of Atlantis. This created vortexes of energy rotating out of each and every circle. Once the vortexes were established, the children of Lemuria began to be called forth. Millions upon
Oh shit, there's
millions
a
of
Cracker
Lemurians
Barrel
who had
near me.
settled all
I should
across
go
the
there.
planet began to be pulled toward Atlantis.
Has the hidden
Great
portal to
migration
Atlantis
began.
in the barrel.
However, the Lemurian body of consciousness had only defined itself as a planetary consciousness. Because we were right-brained, we were a female species, like a 12-year-old girl. And some of our centers weren't working yet. They had worked with these energies, but only mastered 8 of the 10. Each migrating Lemurian was attracted to one of these 8 centers on Atlantis, depending on the nature of the individual. There, they settled and began to build cities. That left 2 vortexes with nobody using them, not a single person. These 2 vortexes were pulling life toward them, and in life, you can't have an empty place. Life will find a way to fill it. Similar to if you were driving along a freeway, following another car, and you drop too far behind, someone will fill the place. That's exactly what happened on Atlantis. Though the Lemurians had only filled 8 of the vortex areas, Mayan records state clearly that there were 10 cities in Atlantis when it fell. You can see these records in the Troano document, which is now located in the British Museum. This document is estimated to be 3,500 years old, and it describes in detail the sinking of Atlantis. To fill these 2 empty vortexes, according to Thoth, 2 extraterrestrial races stepped in. Not 1, but 2 completely different races. The first race were the Hebrews, coming from our future. Thoth says that they came from off-planet, but we don't know where exactly. The Hebrews were kind of like a kid.
If Porm's still here, she's having her
her
mind blown right now by this video.
The Hebrews are aliens.
Yeah, dude.
Get the right brain aspect of evolving
Hebrews are
consciousness,
aliens.
the doing. They didn't
Oh my
graduate to the next level of
God.
evolution, so they had to do it again. They knew a lot of things that we didn't know yet, and brought many concepts and ideas to us that we weren't aware of yet. Now, if this is true, this would explain quite a few things about the Hebrew people in general. They seem to have many sacred geometries hidden within their culture. It also puts perspective on the story of Exodus. Perhaps Moses incarnated into that
That
lifetime
also
to free the Hebrews because they were
that
not
would
direct descendants of
explain the
humans that
thing
were
you
being
said
treated
about the
unfairly.
aliens
Or
just
could it be
looking
that
like
Moses was
people.
visited by an
Exactly.
master of the Hebrews who guided him to free their people? Given what we know about dimensions and consciousness, it definitely puts
Oh,
a
girls
fresh
is now
perspective on the
following. I'm
story
glad
that
whatever
makes
content
sense.
we were just
We can
talking
talk
about
this more, but let's continue
drove
now.
you to follow.
There were no problems caused by the
Welcome.
Hebrews coming to Atlantis. They actually benefited our evolution. The other race that
I'm working
stepped
on
in
something
caused
really crazy
big
on my side of
problems.
the
These
canvas.
beings came from the nearby
I
planet
want to
of
see
Mars.
it, but this is really
According to
important.
Thoth,
I have to
Mars
finish
looked
it.
very much like Earth a little less than 1 million years ago. It was beautiful. It had oceans and water and trees that were just fantastic.
It's basically the crux
Something
of this
happened
whole
to them,
video.
and it has to do with something called the Lucifer experiment. From the very beginning of creation, everything is simply an experiment. Creation itself was just consciousness creating and inhabiting itself in that creation. There is no divine plan. Spirit can do whatever it wants. Having said that, if Spirit decides to cut itself off from the rest of consciousness and create a separate reality on its own, it can do that too. This is called the Lucifer experiment. Because Spirit is God, it can do this. There is nothing wrong with that. We've kind of been led to believe that Lucifer is evil and the devil. This just isn't true. Lucifer is just another means of perceiving the reality. It is not a unity perception of oneness, but rather a duality perception of two-ness. There's a flower of life pattern for Lucifer as well, but that's a big topic for another time. Anytime the Lucifer experiment has been attempted in the universe, it always ends in failure. The species will cut itself off from love and will become incredibly male, left-brained. What always ends up happening is that
Wow,
everyone
is
becomes
that-
very greedy.
is that how
There
it
is no
is?
compassion for one another, and
A
everyone
doobie.
ends up fighting until they end up killing themselves. More than 1 million years ago, the beings
Based.
on Mars joined the Lucifer experiment, and it failed dramatically. Basically, they cut themselves off from the unity of the universe and created a separate reality. When the Martians severed the love bond, they became pure male, logical beings with no emotions. What happened on Mars was that they ended up fighting. Mars became a battleground. Eventually, it became clear that Mars was not going to survive. They blew their atmosphere away and destroyed the surface of the planet. Nova recently did an episode on planetary magnetics, and they found some interesting things about Mars. The planet didn't have a magnetic system, however the surface was magnetized, implying that at one point it did, but that something happened. Now, we've been discussing the star tetrahedron before, and now I want to give you a brief understanding of the Merkaba. The Merkaba was known in ancient times as the Chariot of Ascension. It is the star tetrahedral energy field around
Hey,
the
you
body.
drew it.
All
That's
around the
the
world,
thing.
there are
That's the thing I
references
drew
to
on
this in ancient
Garfield.
texts.
Yeah.
When activated to its full potential, the Merkaba,
I see it
which
now.
is both a tool and part of your
Also,
being,
you fight it
is used to
in
do the impossible,
SMT4.
included but not limited to changing dimensions
Oh,
and
I want to
traveling
beat the
through
shit
the
out of
universe.
Merkaba.
That's probably what
Before
drove me to a
Mars
lot
was
of this
destroyed,
shit.
they built
Actually,
huge
now it's all
tetrahedral
coming
pyramids.
back to me.
They built
It's
3,
'cause of,
4,
like,
and 5-sided
all the
pyramids
stuff in
that enclosed
SMT
over
is
a
like based
compound that
on
was able to build a
crazy
synthetic
mythologies
Merkaba.
from everywhere.
After a
Yeah,
million
And
yeah.
then
years
when
or
I
so,
started
it's
reading
been
into them,
eroded,
I
but the
realized
proof
that they
is
had
there.
like
Now,
crazy
because
ass
the Martians were separate from
weird
the human
significance in
consciousness,
human
they couldn't create a living Merkaba.
history and
They simply
stuff.
used it as a tool. They created
That's
a
pretty
synthetic
cool.
Merkaba to travel in time and find
And
a
I was
new
like,
planet.
where the
A small
fuck do
group
they
of
get all
Martians
this
tried to get
from?
away
I was
from
like, how
Mars
do I,
before
where
it
do
was
I
destroyed,
research
and that
this?
place they found
Just
was
for like,
Earth.
just for shits,
About
just for like knowing the story
65,000
and
years had now
understanding like
passed. They saw this little vortex
what
sitting
old
there, just
people
pulling in
thought or
life
whatever
with
the
no
hell.
one in it. They didn't ask permission. Being part
know?
of the Lucifer experiment,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just said, "All right, let's do it." And they
Yeah, I've
stepped
looked
onto
into
that vortex,
topics
and in
because
doing
of
so,
things I've
they
liked
joined
before.
and changed our evolutionary path. Thoth's father, Thome, was one of the Nakals who set up Atlantis on the island of Udal. That island, the top of the Tree of Life, was the brain of Atlantis, and on it was a small city called Poseidon. This city is what Plato was discussing when he said that Poseidon bore 10 children, the 10 circles on the Tree of Life. Poseidon was made of 3 rings painted in black, red, and white stones, and it was the symbol for Atlantis. The inner circle represented the Nakals. The middle circle were the priesthood, called the Maya, and the outer circle represented the regular people of Atlantis. We'll come back to this down the road. There were only a few thousand Martians who came to Earth through the synthetic Merkaba. The first thing they did when they arrived in Atlantis was try to take over the continent. They tried to declare war and invade. However, they were vulnerable due to their small numbers, compared to the millions of Atlanteans, and we finally subdued them. We were able to stop them from conquering us, but we could not send them back. When this happened on our evolutionary path, we now had the planetary consciousness of a 14-year-old girl. The Martians were an incredibly male species, and also very old. So what you had was a 14-year-old girl being taken over by a 60 or 70-year-old man. We had
Oh, no,
choice in
that's
the
not
matter.
good.
The Martians
Wow,
just
incredible.
stepped in and said, like it or not, we're here. They didn't care what we thought or felt about it. Really, it was no different from what the settlers of North America did to the Native Americans. Once the initial conflict was over, it was agreed that the Martians would try and understand this female thing they lacked. This emotional feeling, which they had none of at all. Things more or less settled for a while, but the Martians slowly began to implement their left-brain technologies, which the Atlanteans knew nothing about. One after the other, the Martians kept putting out these left-brain inventions, until the Atlanteans slowly began to see things through their left brain. We slowly began to become a male species. The Martians gained control, bit by bit, until eventually they had all of the power, as was their intention. The animosity between Atlanteans and the Martians never subsided, not even till the end of Atlantis. They hated each other. The Atlanteans were shoved down and treated like inferiors. It was like a marriage that the female component didn't like, but the male component didn't really care if she liked it or not. It remained this way for a very long time, until
Well,
about
it doesn't sound very
26,000
healthy.
years ago,
No, it sounds
when the
pretty
next
toxic.
phase slowly began.
Yeah, I don't think that's an okay
Before we
relationship
continue,
going on
we
there.
have to talk
Do you
about
think,
the shifts. See, in the
The
1930s,
Lumerians made a twit
Casey
longer
was
about it
channeling information
I
for
think
a
they did.
geologist when he stopped and he said,
and got the
"There's
Martians
something you should
canceled.
know. In the near future, the
definitely
Earth's
did.
poles are
Yeah.
going to shift." Casey was a brilliant man with a very strong connection to higher dimensions, where he communicated with other beings for the human race. Ultimately, it was because of his
Bro,
channelings that
I
the
would
belief
talk
system
to
called New Age
beings in
was
other
created.
dimensions. Why don't
This is,
they
again, just
look at me?
putting what he was doing into boxes of understanding,
because you want
no
to.
one else understood what he was doing at that
Zomast has
time.
rated with 3
Nevertheless,
viewers.
when Casey talked,
Oh.
people listened.
Hello, Zo.
Geologists began exploring
Do
the
you see how
possibility of
wise I've
fellowship.
become now
They
that
found
I've
something
acquired the
remarkable.
emerald
A string of
tablets?
major pieces of evidence came forth and led
We're-
scientists to
yeah.
what Casey was saying, and it had now changed
Yeah.
the world's view on
Now
the
that I've
subject.
acquired the tablets,
Scientists believed that if there was going to be a physical pole
I
shift,
have-
there would also be a change in the magnetic
Reach
pole. Through
enlightenment
studying lava beds,
and become
geologists
woke.
were able to see
Yeah.
where the planetary magnetics were when the lava beds hardened at certain depths. They found that the earlier magnetic poles were not where they were
Vivaldi,
now, but
you are
in
here
Hawaii.
now. How's
The
it
last
going?
shift that took place was 13,000
Hello,
years ago,
Valdi.
and we will get there in the story soon. They did another test and found that it had shifted again 26,000
Here,
years
Misty,
ago
now
as well.
that these guests have
Scientists
come, I need to
also
show
learned that
them
polar shifts happen very
what we
quickly.
discovered.
In a single day, the magnetic
Oh, yeah,
shield
go
would
ahead.
Can you
completely
come over here to the
flip
right
or
side?
turn 90 degrees. There's that
Yeah,
number
yeah.
again. And within 24 hours,
We've
the sun
discovered
would
the
be rising
portal to
differently than it
Atlantis.
did the previous
It's
day.
Crackle Barrel.
This shift
It's
has
Cracker
happened
Barrel.
multiple
Cracker
times in the
Barrel.
last 100 million years
It's
here,
a
and
Crackle
it's speeding
Barrel.
up now and happening faster and faster.
Yep.
Now only 50,000
Portal
years
to
between each
Atlantis.
shift.
We must
Astronomy
investigate
viewpoint
further,
is beginning
but
to be understood.
I'm putting a green
Space,
check
is
mark
this not
because I
a series
think
of
it
laws?
is.
Okay,
Now,
good.
there's a lot more to talk about with polar
Put a,
shifts, but I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
put a
keep it
Twitter
basic.
verified
A
check mark
scientist
next to
named
it as
Charles
well.
Hapgood was
Oh,
studying this
good.
at
Yeah.
great detail because the leading theory behind what caused polar shifts was still underdeveloped at the time. He came up with a theory that demonstrated to be possible through various experiments. Through these
Yeah,
experiments,
this was
they
good.
learned that the surface of the Earth, the crust, could slip over the main mass of the Earth,
Also,
which
here's a
continued its
Sphinx
rotation
paw.
as if nothing happened. The crust would rotate and
Because
spin out of
something
control
about
until
that in the
eventually it
image.
settles again in a new location aligned with the new magnetics. During this time, there are massive earthquakes and tsunamis and devastations that rock
It's a
the
Sphinx.
world.
Trust
Doesn't
me.
that sound a bit like the destruction described in the Book of Revelations?
In real life,
Now,
Twitch
don't
cast
mistake
from
anyone
Cracker
out.
Barrel.
Besides Esther Casey's account, many other ancient prophecies, including Nostradamus and Mayan prophecies, have talked about polar shifts in one way
That's
or another.
good.
And modern science
a
is
good thing
becoming
over there.
increasingly
Very
aware
good.
that there is going to be a polar shift in our near future, which is lining up with our consciousness shift, though they don't.
So
know
this
the
is
aspect.
this video will
It's funny,
open your
actually.
mind to the
A while
truth.
back, Nova did 2 reports on polar shifts, and
Yeah,
both
we're
times
learning.
NASA shut them down. Then recently, Nova released a new video
C
called
says
Earth's
get the
Magnetic
tablet
Storm.
menus and
That
inspect the
video
barrels.
shows all of the evidence for pole shifts.
The Emerald
without actually
tablets were
using
just
the web.
Cracker Barrel menus
It's
this
Oh
whole time.
shit!
Doesn't want to tell you about this and the evidence that's
You
No,
do need to go to Cracker
Polar shifts are
Barrel.
directly related to
No!
the magnetics of the
I won't
planets as
believe
well.
it.
Planetary magnetics are portraits like this, but the reality is much different. Our magnetics
You
have
have
been
to
weakening over the
go.
last 500 years or so, and today they look a little more like this. It was the magnetics becoming more and more warped that's causing many of the problems we've seen in the last 20 years. Birds follow the magnetics of the planet to migrate, and they've been ending up in places they shouldn't be. Whales were continually beaching themselves
The
in the
Death
90s because
Stranding.
they followed these magnetics, which led them to land where there should have been water. As for humans, you know how on the night of the full moon there are more rapes, murders, and violent crimes than any other night of the lunar cycle? Well, the moon affects the magnetics of the Earth.
Is that true? The
The
fuck?
magnetics are so warped right
I don't
now,
know
it's
if that's
affecting
true.
how
I've
we
heard
eat
that
and
before,
act
but
as
I
a
don't know if
planet.
that's true.
Our collapse of
Sataka, you're right. I'm gonna go to
civilization
Cracker
will
Barrel
likely
and
make
get
the Earth.
a menu.
Or perhaps it's the other
Yeah,
way
if you
around.
go to Cracker
There's
Barrel.
one other thing
I
we
bet
need
if
to
you read the
discuss
first
about
line
magnetics. They
of
always line
the
up
first
in
letter of
consciousness.
each line of the
They
menu,
are interrelated.
it'll tell you the
Both lived in
like where the
Atlantis for a very
location
long
of
time, and he told us that he saw the Earth
the
shift
ancient
5
texts are or
times,
something.
watching the sun rise in the east and then the west.
These
and
are
the
like
east,
what
then the
you
west.
drew on the last
This is
screen,
how to
little
explain
green
why during a consciousness
Oh,
shift
yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of Lemuria, it sank beneath the
Ghost.
oceans and Atlantis rose. If the crust
He's
was spinning
done.
randomly around the planet, many geological
Open
events
7
Now he-
a.m.
planets rising and falling
Dude,
would
I'm gonna
occur.
go to fucking
Now
Cracker
that we have
Barrel.
an understanding of polar shifts,
Do it.
I've
Go
seen
to
it and I didn't know it
Cracker
was a
Barrel.
restaurant. I thought it was like some old
26,000 years ago,
cowboy
we were
boot store or
exactly where we
something.
were today on the
I've
precession
never
of
actually
Atlantis.
been there,
We
but
had
I
gone
heard
through our
about
falling
it.
sleep phase, and we were about to
Oh,
begin
hey,
waking
it's
up. It was at this point that there was a
Prince.
small
Oh, it has
He's
like
here
a it
saying
has like a
Baba Booey.
went down in consciousness, not up. A piece of
Baba
Atlantis
Booey.
about the size of Rhode Island sank
But
into
Prince,
the
did you
ocean.
see
This caused a tremendous amount of fear
Baba
within the
Booey.
Atlanteans because they thought they were going to lose the
Sensei?
whole
Baba
continent,
Booey.
like what happened with Lemuria.
Since
Because of
it,
the
I mean,
consciousness
Prince, look
shift,
how
one
wise
of
I
the
am
bigger
now.
things they lost
Now
was
that
the
I've
connection
acquired
to
the
nature.
Emerald
They couldn't
tablets.
foresee big
I mean,
events,
just
the potential
discovered just
sequence
now
of
that the
problems.
Emerald
After
tablets
about
were
200 years,
Cracker
this
Barrel
fear began to
menus the whole
subside.
time.
Now, in both the Bible and the Sumerian records, the accounts of Adam, Eve, and all of their children were recorded to have exceptionally long lifespans, like 900 years or so. So 200 years for us back then is like 20 years for us today. We'll explain how we got there soon. Things kind of settled for a while, and
I
then
need a
between
Cracker Barrel
13,000 and
employee in the
16,000
corner
years ago,
saying, "Sir,
a
you
comet
finished the
hit the
menu
Earth.
yet?"
Because we were living at a high consciousness across all dimensions, the Atlanteans became aware of it before it hit. A great conflict occurred in Atlantis. The Martians, who were in the minority even though they were in control, wanted to blow it out of the sky with their laser technology. However, the Nacals had learned of the comet's true nature, and the Atlanteans protested. They said that the comet was in divine order. They had to allow it to take place naturally. Let it hit the Earth. That's what's supposed to happen. The Martians fought the Atlanteans, but in the end they gave in. The Martians agreed to let it hit the Earth. When the time arrived, it came screaming into the atmosphere, plunging into the Atlantic Ocean just off to the western shores of Atlantis, near where Charleston, South Carolina is
I'm getting
now.
so woke
Only
right
that
now.
was at the bottom of the ocean at the time. The remnants of the comet are now scattered across 4 states, and science has definitely determined that it hit at least 12,000 years ago, if not more. They're still finding pieces today. Although the main portion struck
Sir,
near
can you
Charleston,
please stop
a few
worshipping the
fragments
menu?
actually hit the main body of Atlantis, crashing into an area right where the Martians were living, killing a
New
huge
T
portion of
Vuber
their
skin.
population. They were
That'd be
pissed.
sick.
They said,
That should
"All
be
right,
like my,
we're divorcing you, and
my
we're gonna do
Vroid
whatever we
model.
want. You can do what you want, but we
That
will
should-
never listen to you
That
again."
should be a V-Roid
We know
model.
this whole bit. We've seen it in divorce.
You know how
cases
have I
too.
told you that I want
And
like
the
cursed or like
children?
really weird
Well,
art for
look
my
at our modern
stuff?
world today. We are the
I've told you
children.
that before, right,
You
Misty?
can guess what the Martians did next.
No.
Their primary interface
For what
with
stuff?
reality was
Just
control.
like stuff
When
in
their
general.
anger rose to meet their desire for control,
Like
they
t-shirts.
decided to take over the Earth.
Oh, wait, yeah, you said you
Like
want some,
I was saying, if I was gonna go
They built
balls out
robots
and do
long
like
ago to try
silly
and create
products,
another synthetic Merkaba. If they had
which
succeeded, they would have been
two
control
people would
over
buy, but
everything on the planet.
if I was
The
gonna
only
do
thing
crazy
was,
designs,
around 50,000 Earth years had passed since
Yeah,
they
you
were
said
built.
that.
it would have to be
Quite
something
remember
fucked
how
up
to do
and
it.
weird, and it would have to
They
be
thought
something
they
like
did.
this
The Martians
Thoth
built the buildings
Sensei.
in Atlantis. They set up the whole experiment.
This is
flipped
good
the switch,
stuff.
And lost control. The destruction
You,
was immense.
I can make
In
you a
this
Thoth
reality, you can hardly
Sensei
look
to
a greater
put on
error
your
than to
stuff.
create an out of
Yeah.
control Merkaba. The experiment began to rip open the dimensional levels. Not the
Hey
higher
Sensei,
ones,
can you doodle the
but
one
lower ones.
VTuber I saw
For
end their
analogy,
career
if
in
you
the
took a
Wink
knife and slit
reveal?
open your stomach, the
You know
stomach
which one I'm
acids would
talking
seep
about.
into other parts of the body that it's not supposed to be in. That's like ripping open the dimensions. The Martians almost
Are you
destroyed
talking about the
Earth.
one that
environmental disaster we are experiencing today is nothing in comparison.
that VTuber who
No, today's
debuted in the
disasters
beginning
are
of
a direct
September?
result of these events. Because of this tear in the
Do you
dimensional levels,
remember
a huge number of lower dimensional
the
spirits and beings
20%
The Chaos
slowly outgrew
Emeralds.
comfort zone and into these higher levels. They
Sonic?
were forced into a world
Yes,
that they
right
did
above,
not know or
right
understand.
above.
To survive, they needed bodies and began automatically
Oh, here's the
entering
Cracker
into the
Barrel
bodies of
employee.
people. For every human body, there were hundreds of lower dimensional
You're talking about a guy
spirits
named
inhabiting
Joe.
it. These beings
Joe
were
who?
Earthlings like us, but very different, not coming from this dimension. It was a catastrophe, probably the biggest the Earth
Joe
has
Mama?
ever seen. The reason the Nicals were special wasn't just because of their incredibly high consciousness, making them like guides of Atlantis. They also had achieved what today we call immortality. Let's just say they figured out a way to keep their body healthy and young for as long as they chose, and could choose to pass on whenever they desired it. When
Sir, are you
reincarnating,
finished
they
with
did
the
not
menu?
suffer the great memory loss that we do when we incarnate.
This is really
They
good.
did it through their expanded consciousness and tantric interdimensional sex meditations. This is
Oh
how
yeah,
Joe
yeah,
was
he
a
was in New
priest of
York. Yeah,
Atlantis
and
for
he was in
thousands
New
of
York
years
in
and
September.
stayed on Earth until 15 years ago when he gave all of his memories and understanding about sacred geometry to a man named Drunvalo Melchizedek. The Merkaba is formed out of 3 star tetrahedrons overlaid on top of each other. 2 of them are counter-rotating and the third is stationary. When the Merkaba is formed with the unity consciousness, it is formed internally with love. When it is formed externally through the Lucifer experiment, it does not have that love and can become unstable very quickly. The Martians' attempt
is
at
starting to
controlling
fill
the
up,
world
okay,
took place on one of the
okay.
small islands in the west of Atlantis.
Yeah, we got
This place
some.
today is known
We got
as the
some
Bermuda
stuff
Triangle.
here.
It's a triangle
here you
because
go,
the top
Prince.
of the stationary
Here's Amari
tetrahedron of the
that,
Merkaba is actually
Misty
sticking out
drew.
of the water there, which
Yeah,
causes
I
a
didn't
huge
give her the
electromagnetic
sword dick
imbalance in
this
that
time.
area.
She's just
Many
holding it.
planes and
Just
boats
a
have
normal
reported
sword.
to have
She
gone
took it
missing
off.
there. They just vanished without a trace. The
Well,
imbalance
while
is
you were
multidimensional, and in
busy
many cases, these
watching
ships fight
anime,
getting
she
sucked
was
into different
studying the
dimensions,
blade.
never to
Yeah.
be seen again. That Merkaba is still there on the seafloor today, but from what I know,
The
it's
what?
going to be
Don't worry
practiced.
about it. So.
The Nicals did their best to save Atlantis.
The what?
At least as many as they
Don't
could
make us
to
show you.
save up the dimensional tear.
Please.
Despite this, the situation got really bad, really fast.
Cool
All of
Mari
the
with the
economic
sword
systems
dick.
collapsed. Financial, social, and all concepts of how life ought to be completely broke down. Everyone on Atlantis began getting sick with weird diseases, and the entire continent went into a state of survival. Life was no longer about living. It became about surviving until tomorrow. It was a literal hell on earth.
Nah, you probably
The
don't.
Nicals had no idea what to do. They were children compared to the events that had been thrust upon them. So they prayed. They prayed
Is
to the
that a
highest
bone?
levels of conscious life in the universe, asking for help from anyone who could hear them. The problem was
No, this is a,
why I'm drawing is the Justice League because the 11th and 12th dimensions are completely
You don't wanna
incomprehensible
know.
to us in our current state.
It's not a
What they
sword
told us was
dick.
this. We were going to hit rock bottom, level 1, the lowest place we possibly could be in the universe and still survive. Also, we were changing polarity. We were no longer a female
So
species,
that's where that
so we were
went.
starting from square one as a male species. And finally, and this was the shocker, we would only have 13,000 years to return to Christ consciousness.
What a
Only it
shocker
takes
that
hundreds
was.
of thousands of years for a species to get to Christ consciousness. We had to do it in a fraction of the time. If we didn't, we would not survive. This has never happened before in the universe, ever.
How do you
Thoth,
know
who was the
that,
priest king
though?
of Atlantis at the
Dude, I
time,
don't know.
learned that they
He
would have to
said it
perform
so
this
like
experiment on
gravely and
themselves. They
so
received instructions
certainly.
from the highest levels of
Yeah.
consciousness and they went on their way. Thoth proceeded with a being named Ra and Aragat, who were previous kings of Atlantis, and began the experiment. To understand what they did, we have to talk about consciousness grids. A planetary grid is an etheric crystalline structure that envelops the planet and holds
Is that the
consciousness
thing
of
they were
any
talking
one
about where the
species of life.
pyramids are at all
This
the
grid
points?
does have
Oh
a
yeah, yeah.
component
This is
associated
that same
with the
idea.
third dimension, but it also has a component for every dimension as well. These grids are geometric, of course, and science will eventually discover that there is a grid for every species in the world. Each of these grids have their own geometry and are unique. There's not another one like it.
See, like it's the
because
same
species
map, dude.
itself are unique.
Yeah.
These grids give off light as well, and from space they can be seen as the source of the bluish glow around the Earth. What Thoth and friends had to do was create a synthetic Christ consciousness grid, allowing humans to ascend to Christ consciousness in a very short time.
This is
First,
this
let's
video is
talk
so
about the science
batshit
behind the
crazy.
grid.
Like if
Perhaps
you
you've
listen
heard
to
of
it,
the 100 monkey
like I
experiment.
know
Over a
we're
span of 30
distracted,
years,
but
scientists were researching a species of monkey
it's pretty
called
fucking
Bahama
batshit.
brigada on an
Yeah,
island in Japan.
Sotaka, that's
They
what
were
it
providing
is.
the
How
monkeys
did
with
my
sweet potatoes by
Pokemon
chopping
rando
them into
go?
sand. The
I
monkeys liked
lost
sweet potatoes,
to
but they didn't like
Pokemon.
sand and dirt so much.
Sataka, that
The
map
monkeys
was
slowly
roughly the
figured out that
same
they
but
could wash
different.
those sweet potatoes, and some of them taught the technique
But
to their parents.
there's gonna be a part
Only a
2
few of the
because I
adult
still have
monkeys did this,
Pokemon
though.
left.
This
There's
went
the
on for some
hexagon
time,
grid,
until
but that
one day,
wasn't
the
the same
monkeys who
one.
actually knew the technique hit critical mass, and bingo, the technique started spreading faster than it did before. Monkeys started learning it really easily across all of the Japanese islands
Monkey.
nearby, as well as on the mainland. They knew that there had to be something that wasn't yet understood about how a species is connected to itself. So what did we do? We tried it on humans. Our research team made a picture out of human faces. About 100 faces hidden within a single picture, but at first glance, you could only see about 6 or 7. They
Good
did
night,
several surveys with a
Sibo.
few
Alright,
people
nighty-night,
in Australia
Sibo.
and said, "Alright, find the faces."
Don't fall off the
Most
edge of
people
the
could
flat
only
Earth.
pick out 6, 7,
Yeah,
8,
don't fall
9
off
or
a flat
so.
Earth. I'm
Not
gonna
many
draw a
more.
flat Earth.
After that, the research team
Oh,
went to
good
Britain
point.
and
Good
aired the
idea.
picture on a closed cable BBC special that
there's
was shown
some remote.
only in England. They showed where all of the faces were, every last one.
I'm gonna
After
draw a
the
different
research
kind
team,
of
which
Earth
stayed
in the corner.
Australia, did the experiment again with new subjects, and lo and behold, people were just naturally able to see more faces. After this experiment, they knew that something definitely connects us all, and the field of noetics is learning more about it daily. It's mass consciousness. In Lesson 11, I showed you the 3 levels of consciousness. Each of these levels have their own consciousness grids around the planet, and our second level grid is based on squares and triangles. Many governments of the world, especially the Russian and US governments, were studying our grids back in the 60s and probably earlier. When mapping out the grid on the planet, you find little military bases on many of the nodal points of the grid. There are tons of these bases way out in the middle of nowhere, like on little islands like Guam. This couldn't be a coincidence.
That detail's
Government
fucked if
powers
true
placed
in
their
any
bases
way.
right where the little spirals came out of the grid. They were trying to
Because
take
like
control of
Nazis
the
used to
grid.
study the
They could
occult and they
control
thought that shit
consciousness
was
and
real.
control what we think and feel.
But who fucking knows what the
There was
American
another
government thinks is
organization
real?
that had its hand in both of
I
these
saw
governments, and still
Nazism
do,
was
and we will
trending on
discuss them
Twitter
soon enough.
yesterday.
This grid is visible through astral
I'm not
projection
surprised
as
in
well.
any capacity.
13,000 years ago, it began. Thoth, Ra, and Aragat were to create a global complex that was able to build a synthetic Christ consciousness grid over a 13,000-year time period. The first thing they did was to fly to a place which is now called the Giza Plateau, but back then it was known
Flat
as the land of Chem.
Earth.
It was also a rainforest back then as well, not desert like it is today. First, they created a grid around the planet 4th dimensionally, and then began to construct it in the physical 3rd dimension. They went to the male energetic
Israel.
axis of the Earth and
What are you
constructed a
saying,
complex
Siege?
which today is called the Solar Cross. These men
The aliens are
beings at
Hebrew.
that
That's
time
what they
and were living
said.
at a
Yeah,
very
that's
high
what they
level of
said earlier.
consciousness,
Is
so
like
whatever they thought
aliens were
happened instantly.
Hebrews.
It
Fuck
was
man,
that
I believe
simple.
it.
According to Thoth,
Don't
he
at
built
me.
the Great Pyramid. Not the Egyptian king Cheops. Thoth says that it was built 200 years prior to the pole shift and built very quickly. These pyramids were aligned precisely with both Fibonacci
This
and
dot
golden
is
spirals
Sibo, and he's
emanating
about
out
to
of the
fall
solar
off
cross.
of flat Earth right
Interestingly
here.
enough, Edgar Casey also channeled that the pyramids
Don't
were
fall
constructed
off,
in this
Sibo.
time. The pyramids were also found to be built from the top down. The stones on top were placed first, which has baffled researchers ever since.
Oh,
Every time more is
Israel.
learned
Oh,
about the pyramids,
Israel.
we move
Oh,
further
I
into
see.
dark
I
on
see.
understanding how they were formed. If what Thoth says is true, well, that explains everything. From there, Thoth and friends
know what
constructed
else
an
is
entire
real?
network of temples and structures
Mom.
around this grid 4th dimensionally, placing them on nodes on the new
Sure.
synthetic Christ consciousness grid they were creating. All of them were made with Fibonacci or golden mean spirals, and all of them were mathematically referred back to the solar cross in Egypt.
Oh,
through which
Donut
they were created.
Earth? That's
The
amazing.
creation of all of the sacred sites on the planet
Yep.
were no accident. It was a single
I'm
consciousness that
gonna
created
draw
them
him
all,
right
from
here.
Machu Picchu to Stonehenge to Zaghuan, you name it. There are a few exceptions, but most were created by a single awareness as part of a unity consciousness grid. Although the Great Pyramid was done all at once, many of these ancient structures of the world were made 4th dimensionally and slowly dropped in frequency until
Oh,
they
Sibo's
manifested
right
on the
there.
3rd dimension
That's so
over a long
accurate.
period of time.
Yeah, he's
Richard
about to fall
Hopper's
off a
research
flat
brings
Earth.
this
He's
Please
gotta
don't
be
do
careful.
anything bad to
first
him.
either. They showed how one
No,
sacred
no,
site is
he's-
extrapolated from another
He's
to
just
another
on the
to another.
edge, that's
A
all.
hot topic of discussion right now are ley lines. These are simply geometric relations between
Ley
sacred
lines.
sites. Archaeologists are now finding these huge connections between major spiritual sites in the globe, and now we know why they're connected. These sites had to be built physically so that the Christ consciousness grid could manifest.
Bro, this is what he's talking about, dude. The
Physical
pyramids
site
are...
has the wiring of a giant wireless electrical system, and then it needs about
5G.
50,000 years of continuous energy flow
Oh,
for it to
some
actually
5G
turn on.
towers.
And just so that you're not left in suspense, yes, the grid
Dude, I
was
bet the
created.
Egyptians were on
It
like
came to life and
7G.
is now active, though not really
I bet
used.
they were.
They're probably on like
Congratulations,
12G.
we actually survived. Not only has Thoth
When
told us
when
this
you're
in
playing
person,
Halo
but
and
he's
you're in the
also written it down
library,
in the Emerald
which is like one of the
tablets. These
levels,
tablets were left in the Great
and then
Pyramid
Guilty
thousands of
Spark
years
comes
ago.
out.
There are 12 tablets
Guilty
in
Spark
total,
being like a
formed from
robot
substance created
found
through
on the
alchemical
Halo.
transmutation.
And you're like, he's like the first living thing you found on Halo, other than aliens, and that are killing you. I mean, the Flood. And then the guilty Spark's like, oh, your battle armaments are only level 4, but it's recommended you have level 12.
If you're interested in this stuff,
And then you're like,
definitely consider reading them. As
what?
You can probably tell,
But this is the best we got.
Most of this information comes
And you're
from
calling me level
Thoth
4?
also provided most of this information about the flower of life and its
makes
That's
sense.
not really cool.
It's like, damn, bro.
And this stuff is tied intimately
That's
to the
harsh.
It's like
geometry
we're just
of the
little
universe.
babies.
Considering the quality and quantity of
Bunch of
information
little
that we
babies
share,
compared to
it
you
makes you
guys.
really start considering that this next part can be true. The Great Pyramid has a legendary missing capstone. According to the Emerald Tablets, deep under the Great Pyramid, there's a
But
room
it said
of
so
all
subtly in the
records.
game, though, that
This
it
room
just,
was not
to
built
me,
by
it just
Thoth,
added a
long
detail of
predating the
like
Atlantean civilization.
a little
Within
bit
the
of that
holographic
cosmic
is the
dread.
capstone of the pyramid, which is 5.5 inches high, solid gold, and completely holographic
I know
image
the
of the Great
feeling of
Pyramid.
cosmic
It has all of
dread.
the little rooms and
Yeah,
everything.
some cosmic
However,
dread.
this leaves
And
us
then
with
they
24
didn't have any
square foot
details
cube of
about
Great Pyramid that's
the
missing.
Forerunners in that
If what
game,
Thoth
so
says
you
is
just
true,
didn't know
that
what the
missing
hell they were
piece
talking
actually
about.
belongs to a very special airship that exists on Earth. And the way
Oh my
to the
god,
airship
Tsuchinoko.
is through the Sphinx.
Yeah.
The Sphinx, according to Thoth, is
He's
not
real.
12,000 years old, but dates back over 5.5 million years on Earth. Deep under the Sphinx, about 1 mile down, is a round room with a flat floor and flat ceiling.
The Hall of Records, there it
Inside
is.
this room is the
There it
oldest
is
synthetic
again.
object
Did you see it?
on Earth.
I
with a flat
did.
floor and flat ceiling. Inside, deep
That's
under Thoth
they're
is not 12,000
these
years
fools.
old,
It's under the
underneath
ground.
over 5.5
pyramids.
million years
Fucking
on Earth.
idiots.
Deep under the Sphinx, about 1 mile down, is a round room with a flat floor and flat ceiling.
Do you think it tells you how to
Inside
get
this
there in
room
the
is
Emerald
oldest synthetic
Tablets?
object on
Probably.
Earth. The object is about 2 city blocks in size. It's round like a disc and has a flat bottom and top. It is also only about 3 atoms thick, except for a pattern on the top and bottom which looks like this. This pattern is 5 atoms thick. Thoth says that it's
giant
powered by consciousness,
thing
thought,
that's
and
only
feeling,
3 atoms
and
thick.
connects with your own living Merkaba, which means that it becomes an extension of you and your own energy fields. The ship is also intimately connected with the spirit of the Earth and is the protector for the
Oh
whole
my god,
planet.
it has a
Thoth built the pyramid the
Hyrule
way he
shield.
did to fit with the ship.
Did you see
When
that?
on top of the Great Pyramid, it
No, I was
creates a
drawing
planet.
this thing. Hold on.
Thoth
Go
built-
back.
The ship is also intimately connected with the spirit of the Earth and is the protector for the whole
Oh my
planet.
god.
Thoth
It
built the pyramid the way he did to fit with the ship.
It does.
When on top of the Great Pyramid, it creates this image from above. The disc ship has a circumference equal to the perimeter of the Great Pyramid. As we discussed in
3
lesson
atoms
11,
thick, but the
whenever that
size of a
ratio
city
appears,
block. That's right,
light appears.
Sataka. I don't
This
know
ship can
either.
only be
How'd you
made
even
by the
fucking know
purest
you
of
were
souls.
on
See,
it?
Whenever we approach the point in the precession of the equinox where
Or-
our poles do these
I
shifts,
don't know.
we become very vulnerable. Things often degenerate.
I
and
guess
while
if you
things
look
become
down,
chaotic,
you'd
there
be
are
on
often
it.
other
You'd
species
see
who
the
take
top
over.
of it.
This has always happened, not just with
But it
us,
would just
but with
be
all evolving
incredibly
consciousness.
thin.
Every time a takeover seems imminent, a very pure
That's
person
so
will
weird.
find their way to
But
the
full
ship
of
and
magic
raise it into the
energy.
air. The Earth and Sun will connect with that person and give him or her great power. Then, whatever that person thinks and feels will happen. And think about it. If consciousness is the primary core component of the entire planet, does it not make sense that it would have its own defense mechanism? This defense is an airship.
Holy
that
shit,
plugs into the
and
Earth
then
and
we're
the
only
Sun,
halfway through
allowing
this
the
video,
Earth
you know?
to have protection.
Yeah.
The event actually already happened, the same year the Christ grid was activated. The year was 1989, and we were having some troubles with the Greys, a race of ETs.
What are
who
you
were
thinking
slowly
of this,
plotting takeover
mural
due to
so
a
far?
previous scuffle we were having. A very pure woman in Peru made the
What we
ascension
drew?
process into
Yeah.
the Christ consciousness grid and found the ship. She tuned it to the
Honestly, I think
frequency of the
it's
fourth
almost
dimension
as
when
much
she
of a
raised it through the Earth
masterpiece
and
as
into
the
the
other
air, and manifested
You think
a
it's what?
situation for the Greys to leave.
Maybe even a little
Within a very
better.
short
Yeah,
time, the
yeah,
Greys
it's pretty
began
good.
getting sick and
The
remained sick for as
Thoth
long as they
sensei
could.
really
Let's
They
go
have been
through it
forced to
again.
leave for now, and we are once
cornered
again safe.
We
together.
started
The
with
ship is a warship
Battle
in
of
that whatever race is
Atlantis,
trying to take over, the person will
Alien
just
vs.
take
Shark,
them away. Think up a situation
and
force
then
them
the
to
shark
leave.
had an anchor, and then
Returning
the
to the
anchor
events
had a
of Atlantis,
gyroid,
after completing the complex in Egypt,
and then
the
there
Silver
was
Cows returned to
Garfield's
Atlantis, where
own
they waited for about
Merkaba.
200 years
There was
until that
Patrick
critical point on the
overlooking.
precession of the equinox.
He's
Jeffy
like a
was bread.
Shift.
Yeah.
They knew that Atlantis would
Mari.
sink, and they would be ready.
Mari with
Is
her
it-
arms
Seriously on Thoth,
fish.
pals?
Yeah.
Thoth, the poles are shifting. Oh, the pole shift? Yeah, whoa, what's wrong with your eyes? I don't know.
Oh my
When
goodness.
Thoth first saw signs of a polar shift, they returned
That's a
to
good
the land of
indicator to
Shem
stop
and
watching
raised the
this
warship
video.
into the sky.
And then
They
there's
went to
Pyramid
Atlantis
Head,
and picked
who's
up
the
the
Jolly
knowledge.
Green
The
Giant.
Nakals weren't just
That
passengers
shout
on,
out to
and each
Porum.
and every being was working in unity to build a
Um,
very powerful Merkaba around themselves.
No,
and the
he's
ship.
just an
They
alien,
returned
but
to the
he's
Great Pyramid
pyramid
and
head
landed the
because
ship
the
on top,
aliens and the
forming a
pyramids are
5 ratio
always
with the pyramid.
connected.
Why
And
is
then
he
it
got
happened.
beans?
The poles began to shift,
Because
and
we
Thoth's
wanted
consciousness
when
began
you
to
to
plummet.
spill the beans
Simultaneously,
Uh,
electromagnetic and
while he was
magnetic fields
drawing
of the
it,
Earth
so it just
collapsed,
happened.
and
I thought
all
this was
life
like
on
the
the
Jolly
planet
Green
went
Giant
into
when
the great
Porum said
void.
that she
The
had
3.5
a
days
can
of
on her
absolute
desk.
blackness
I mean, it
one
kind of
ancient
is.
cultures in the
Right,
world.
Porum?
The Emerald Tablets
Kinda
say
looks
that
like
whenever
him.
we go through a polar shift,
Oh, we forgot something
go
really
through a void
important on the
space and we change our
holorecords.
frequencies
I'm
for
gonna
about
add it right
3.5
now.
days. This is also in the Troano document.
Oh, it's supposed to be
referred by
underground.
3.5
We know
stones
that
painted
now.
black. This refers to a time when we go through what science calls the electromagnetic null zone. During
Oh,
the
you're
full moon,
drawing
a
my
phenomenon
eel.
takes place where everything just seems to disappear for a certain time. Usually it's between 2 to 4 days, and the last time it was 3.5 days. Here's where
Porum
it gets
says she's
interesting.
upgraded
What
from
happens to us
corn to
does not
proper
usually happen to
dumbbell
a normal
now.
species, because most advanced species will have their Merkabahs
She's what to
handy
what?
at the time of the
From
shift.
corn to
Upgraded
proper
from-
dumbbell. Oh,
Into our low
good.
crisis,
That's
and
good
sucked into
progress.
the void space without protection. This resulted in
I'm
the
sure
sleep
it does the
phenomenon.
job a little better than the
Science
can did.
realizes that all of
Well,
our
you gotta
memories are
start
connected
small
to
is what
cells
it
in our
is.
brains, as well as fields around our
Oh,
heads.
is that what was
What
happening?
is not
Yeah.
entirely understood by science yet, at least not directly, is the connection our memories have with the planet itself. We've discussed this before.
I should probably
Magnetics
start
of the
lifting
Earth
some
affect how
corn.
we think and act. The Merkaba is an electromagnetic field that you create around your body that can serve as protection from void as you're consciously going through it. What happened to us when we didn't have that protection? It was a clean wipe. When we existed on Atlantis, we were living at a very high level of
That's it, dude. I
consciousness
need
in a
to
higher
read the
dimension. We had
Emerald
extremely
tablets,
advanced,
learn how to
sophisticated bodies
summon
and
my
minds that were
Merkaba,
capable of practically
and then I
anything.
can
We live in a
go through the
dimension where
void.
molecules were spaced so far apart
Yeah, yeah.
that consciousness could interact with them without physically moving.
If
It's
you
hard to
got weak
explain
wrist,
because you
corn
can
will
literally
buff
shape
you
your
up.
environment immediately through your consciousness in
I
these
think
higher
I do have
frequencies.
weak
In
wrists.
that sense, we were creators,
I need the
knowing
corn.
and understanding
Corn will
goodness,
buff you up,
beings
dude.
of love.
I need to
But then we
become the
fell.
Jolly Green
We dropped
Giant.
back down to
Yeah,
this
you're gonna
place
be
called
jolly,
the third
alright.
dimension. We also fell
Yeah.
in
You're gonna be a
consciousness back to
fucking
zero.
giant.
We
You're
forgot
gonna be
how to use
fucking
the pineal
shredded.
gland, and it slowly
I'm
shrunk
gonna
to
be
the
the
size it
giants
is
they
now,
keep talking
like a
about.
raisin, where it's supposed to be eyeball size. When this happened, we forgot how to breathe source energy into our bodies, and our lifespans
This
were
shit
shortened.
has a lot of
Eventually,
people
we went from
behind it, this
900
pineal
years to
gland
what it is
business.
today. We had not experienced this dense
pineal
reality that we had
gland?
before, at least for a
Yeah,
very
because
long
they say
time.
that our pineal
We went
gland
from
used
a
to be bigger,
supercomputer that gets completely
and then
wrecked
they
to
say
our
that
operating
it's
system running
kind
in
of
these advanced
related to
physical
our
bodies that we didn't know how to
wokeness and
use
our
them. This is why
meditationiness.
today we are so physically advanced
Oh.
compared to pretty much all the other animals in this third dimension. For a time, the survivors of the Atlantean fall, and there were a few,
Pineal,
were literally
pineal.
hairy barbarians. We even had to rediscover fire. The reason we're having such a hard time finding evidence of Atlantis is because for the most part,
Pineal
the events
gland.
of Atlantis took place on a much higher dimension than our physical Earth exists on right now. Everything I've drawn of Atlantis can't be taken as that's what it looked like, because it didn't. This landmass did physically exist, but the Atlanteans
And
were not inhabiting that dimension
yeah,
in
they
its
claim that
existence.
it used to be
If the
bigger
warship
in
hadn't been
earlier
protected by the
humans.
Merkaba, the Nicals would have lost their memories. They retained their memories when the Earth came out of the void and began their work once more. Thoth and 1/3 of the Nicals went to
So
the island
older
of the
humans
south
were
of
more
Bolivia.
woke.
Aragot and 1/3 went to
Yeah,
Tibet, and
yeah.
Ra and the remaining third went to Egypt, where
Does
they
And
waited.
dude,
cannabis
I
affect the
okay, dude,
pineal
I
gland?
had like this yoga. You did like yoga at my work once, and it was like me and only 2 other people that showed up this one session. And then the yoga teacher started talking about the pineal gland, and she said that
this is where we fell in consciousness, point C. And this was our falling
she was
asleep
talking about
phase
his
too.
connection with like
Thoth, Ra,
meditation and
the
stuff.
Ascended Masters were waiting
And then
until
she
point
said
B.
that
They had to wait for humans
the
to just
Nazis were
evolve
giving
themselves over a 6,500
everyone
year
fluoride in
period
their
before they
water
were advanced enough to actually
because
receive the
fluoride
same
shrinks the
information that we were
pineal
going to
gland,
provide.
and it
Sometime
makes
in
them
here
more
was when the flood
susceptible,
of Noah
more
occurred.
more
Because of the bullshit,
submissive,
the Earth went through an ice age. This is scientific fact.
more
When the ice melted, it would have caused
docile.
massive flooding.
She said
DNA
that's
is
why
the
they
Oh.
put the
manifestation
fluoride
of
in the
who you
water.
are.
It was
It
like
is your
And you,
soul,
and you learned
physical
this
aspect.
during yoga.
What we are
Yeah,
seeing in
she was the
DNA is
yoga
changes in the
instructor.
codons. There's 64 possible
But
codons in DNA.
I fucking
Humans
believe
only
it.
have
It's
the most
bullshit, but I
advanced ones.
fucking believe it.
What we're finding is that there are 64 codons being activated within these
I have an
children,
image for
and
it.
they are choosing 2 of the 6.
I
What
traded
looks like
cavity
we are in
resistance for
children, and probably
brain
the super psychics
meditation.
as well. Now, this is a
Honestly,
chromosome.
why the fuck do we need
Basically,
fluoride
what
in
this
our water?
is
It's so
lots and
stupid.
lots of
I'm pretty sure
DNA
fluoride is
into
also
this weird
responsible for
H-cell
like
shape.
thyroid
This is
problems and
located in every cell and is part of your body of consciousness.
and we have
Nice.
fluoride and SSRIs like
Consciousness in
antidepressants.
here
Now, why the
not
fuck
only
do we
has
need
its
that
own
in water?
consciousness grid,
That's
its chromosome
Giorno,
change
right?
as well.
Yeah.
The second level, where we are now,
Yeah, this is me.
has 44 and 2 chromosomes.
This is me like through all
This
these
is
videos.
basic biology. The third level, however, has 42 and 2. And
I
this
need
third
you
level
to
has
say
46
bootleg
and 2.
Giorno.
The fourth and fifth have 48
Bootleg
and 2
Giorno?
and 50 and 2 respectively.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The primary physically visible
I'm gonna
difference
send it
between
to
these DNA
Okay.
and all
Should I
life
Google it?
is height. The first level has an
Well,
average
yeah, you
height
could
of
just
4 to
Google it,
6 feet
honestly.
tall. The second level, us, has an average height of 5 to 7 feet. Third,
Oh
our
my
height
god.
is 16 feet, which we are about to translate to.
His pineal gland must be
Third is
tiny.
5 feet, and the last is 50 to 60.
Yeah.
You may remember a being named Metatron.
It's
He's the
shrunk.
archangel who is the perfection of
Porum, you don't know
humanity at the
JoJo's?
time. He was 55 feet tall, that guy. The last 2 heights are far in the
Good
distant
God.
future for us, though.
I was listening
This
the
is a
whole
place in
time,
Egypt
but
today
I
called Abu
didn't know
Simbel.
anything
The
past
first thing you
part
notice
3.
is that these statues are
my
huge, huge.
God.
But with the
Look like
information about
Jorno's
the DNA,
woke.
this paints a different picture. These
like
beings could be in
Shorno.
the 60-foot range if they were to stand.
He's so
They
good.
were at the 5th level of consciousness.
I gotta
These
look this.
beings
I'm
on a
gonna
different
put this
wall
to
are 35
bed
feet
once
tall,
and for all.
at the 4th level of consciousness. Here are some 3rd levels as well. Archaeologists saw this and thought that it meant that the man was just much more important than the woman, when in actuality, the kings of Egypt had 5 different names, one for every level of consciousness. Some of the kings were even able to translate into different dimensions, and that's how they guided
Jesse
the
Ventura,
population with the power of
Lord in the
gods.
Water. That was originally done by the
In
Nazis.
Egypt, according to today's top archaeologists
Oh
and
no, what did I
researchers,
just
the
close?
Egyptians
What does
and Sumerians
PolitiFact
both
have to
began their
say?
civilizations right around the same time for each other,
PolitiFact.
within a few hundred years or so. Both of these civilizations emerged out of nowhere.
I don't
with
believe
perfect
fucking
writing
anything these
abilities
sites
that
say,
were
dude.
not
This
improved
is so
upon
stupid.
since. When they first
Not
emerged,
saying
they were
that, you know,
extremely sophisticated and
this
clever,
is
and
true
slowly
and
degenerated
blah blah
over
blah. I'm just
generations.
saying
No archaeologist
these
can
guys are
explain
fucking
how
paid
this
off for
happened
sure.
or explain how it could have happened. They placed Egypt
Polita-
in
whatever?
a special classification
Yeah,
called stair-step
PolitiFact.
evolution.
Yeah,
What
I
These
happened
sites
believe
are
that.
bullshit.
One
Like,
day,
don't
Egypt
fucking.
got its language, full and complete. Then the
Like,
knowledge
if you need
leveled up,
someone to
and then it
fucking
got another massive
fact
leap a
check
little
for
while
you
later.
like
Then
this,
suddenly they knew everything about water and motion.
it's just
It was
too
perfect.
easy. It's too
Then, a
easy.
little time later, bam, they're masters of hydraulics. How did Egypt and Sumer do this? Well, this is what Thoth said. When we were evolving on our own for
Oh.
6,500 years, Ra and the Ascended Masters were waiting in an underground city beneath the Great Pyramid. We'll come back to this in a bit. Thoth's son Tat formed a group called the Tat Brotherhood, which is a secret group that still exists today as protectors and keepers of the sacred temples.
It's not that there's like
Today,
a
they're
fucking
still
grand
connected to the
conspiracy
Ascended Masters.
for everyone to
So
make
about
shit
6,000
up.
years ago,
It's just,
some
you know,
members of the Tat Brotherhood would wait until they would meet someone who
people
could
pay
understand
for
what
their
they were going
interests to
teach
be
them.
brought
When they
up or
found
not
someone,
talked
they would
about and
just tune
stuff.
their frequencies to the third
That's all
dimension
it
and
is.
walk up and tell them information flat out. They said,
Yeah, I mean, I
"Okay,
believe
Someone,
that.
this and
someone
this,
comes and
this
is
happened."
like,
The
hey,
Egyptians
you
would
guys
say,
should promote this.
"Wow, look at that."
We'll pay you.
Then they would go underground, wait
And
another
then they're
little
like,
while,
okay,
and repeat the
sounds good to
process.
us.
Over a short period of time, the Egyptian and Sumerian evolution shot up in stair steps. As for the Sumerians,
I
they
don't
also
think there's
received
like
a more
grand
detailed story
schemes.
by those who were assisting
So
them.
much is
They
just
described
like
to the Sumerians in all
People
of the
with
details
money
they remembered.
doing
people with
things
money, and then
that
they're
you
paying
don't
people
want.
who just
Write it
don't
down. The Sumerians
know,
knew
or
the
they
deepest
they
ahead
just
of the
willingly
equinox
agree
because they
or
were
whatever
told
the
by
deal
Nicole
is.
from Atlantis. After this stair-step
I
period,
don't know.
we
Whatever's
began to
gonna
fall
like
asleep
sway
further.
people's
Things
opinions
got
more.
worse once more. It was our falling sleep stage of
On both
procession,
sides.
and although the Nicoles had given us a boost, we were consciously dozing off. On that note, it's time for the
Look at all
story
these
of
little
the
dots
city
I
under
made
the
on
pyramid.
accident.
Keep
Get
an
rid of
open
them.
mind about this.
Yeah, it
because
keeps
there's very little
happening.
proof
I
for
think
what
it
I'm
happens to
about
me
say.
too.
For over 40 years, Drunvalo Melchizedek has been studying human consciousness through sacred geometry and spiritual teachers and masters all over the world.
Oh
In
shit, okay, I
1996
can't do any more of this video. It's already 11. I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we've pretty much finished this.
Yeah, so we gotta save this one as, what's this one gonna be called?
But let's just call it Battle for Atlantis.
Okay. Scientology stream next time? What could we look up for Scientology?
I don't really know anything about Scientology except for that I've heard it's a cult.
I do feel like it's like blown out a little bit, like it's been done.
And a lot.
I bet there's lots of cults that we could look at. There's like those. Hey, Sieg, you must know
I do
about like
find
the
cults very interesting.
yeah. Sieg, you know about like the Japanese cults, right?
I've heard about a couple of them.
There's
I
like a
think.
lot of Japanese cults, and you'll see in a lot of manga and anime, they talk about cults, and I think it's because it's based on like real cults that spring up in
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah,
Happy
yeah.
Science. Anime? No.
I think we'd have to yeet the VOD afterwards, though.
How come?
Because cults are scary.
Oh, that's where this is from?
Yeah, I remember this. Wasn't there a game about this guy, too?
Oh no. Yeah, I've seen this guy before, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Porum, you should start a cult.
She's a demon.
Yeah, so what?
She already has a cult.
We'll watch this video and then we'll go to bed. This is one of my favorite videos.
Don't you want devoted followers who leave their families for you, give their money to you, give their bodies to you, give up their lives for you, consider you God,
Oops.
and will kill for you?
I love you.
Ugh.
Don't you want to become a cult leader? Since the the death of God, there's been a vacancy open. You could fill that void. Here's how.
Your face here.
Structure your cult like an onion with the most benign and helpful features on the outside and the most controlling, kooky, and evil parts at the secret inner core. Use deception. Don't tell them who you really are. Lie. Leave out important information or distort information.
Are you trying to recruit me? No. I'm just trying to share something meaningful with you.
Establish front groups.
We're a Bible study group.
We're a management course. We're a meditation center.
We're a world peace organization.
We're a personal development center.
We're a drug rehab center.
Promise to fulfill their dreams.
Are these people's faces warped at all? Is that just me?
I think that's just them.
We have the secret.
Sataka, I think we could probably take some of these methods and use them in VTubing. There's got to be a way.
Mission to save the world. We can teach you special powers. Personal powers.
We can give you followers. We can give you subs.
Telekinesis.
Yeah, exactly.
Offer them something free and get them to feel obliged to give you something in return.
I do that.
Well, we gave you that free dinner. The least you could do is come to our weekend intensive.
You can tell them time is running out and that they must make their decision now or it will be too late. Don't give them time to think. Diminish doubting commiseration by separating your new recruits from each other. Surround them with happy, true believers so when in doubt they will tend to do what everyone around them is doing and believe that is normal.
Great.
With a prolonged period of love bombing. Surround them with unconditional love and attention. Your cult family should act.
I have like a handful of friends that
Get
have
information and hone their weak spots.
Tell us about yourself.
ended up giving money for those fucking like energy drink
And then use this
bullshit
information to
multi-level
manipulate
marketing
them.
things.
Oh no.
And they totally
yeah.
use these
To change the
tactics.
recruit's behavior by granting or
I'm sure they do.
withholding love and attention.
I've
They
had
really do.
friends try
After
to
they've
have their
bonded,
stupid
slowly start
parties
making
to
your
sell
demands
shit.
upon them. The message being,
Nothing in this world has value.
My secret life inside Scientology and my harrowing escape by a family member of one of the top brass.
control their behavior.
Seems like it doesn't matter like where you come from. There's like you could be susceptible to this stuff, and that's what makes it scary.
2 hours sleep.
Pretty much you could
Define
apply
a
this
rigid
to a lot of
schedule.
things, yeah.
Like it's like such like a peer pressure kind of thing.
It really is. Like if people are feeling really happy about something, like you make them feel loved and appreciated, then
Keep them active.
yeah,
and
it's
with as little
probably
sleep as
easy to
possible.
manipulate them after that.
Yeah.
If you can, restrict their eating habits to low protein food. Control their thoughts.
Our ideology answers all questions to all problems.
Let our doctrine think for you.
Control their emotions. Induce guilt.
The United States dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima.
People are dying of starvation.
People are dying of starvation.
You are not living up to your potential.
You are not living up to your potential.
You cheated on that test.
And fear.
The enemy will electroshock you.
Torture you.
Kill you or carry you off to hell.
This
Control
does sound like Twitter a
information.
little bit to me sometimes.
Keep them from knowing all the workings of the cult.
Maybe
Block out
Twitter
any
as a whole
information
is
which
actually a
critical of
cult.
the group.
Dude, Twitter,
Encourage members
parts
to
of Twitter are
bond and
totally a
report
cult.
on one another.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Separate the
true,
recruit from himself
unironically.
By attacking the self and inducing
Think
a
Prince
mental
is starting a
breakdown
cult?
disguised as
Yeah,
a
he might be.
spiritual awakening. When they start to freak out, have side effects, or hallucinate, tell them
Breaking
they are
Free:
flushing
How I
out the
Escaped
bad
Polygamy.
stuff
The
inside.
When I was meditating,
oh the Latter Day
infinite
Saints
emptiness.
cult.
It was utterly terrifying.
No, this is good. You're transforming. Do it more.
You are reaching God.
You're being reborn.
You are becoming one with the universe, one with our family.
Make them paranoid about their own bodies or thought processes.
You're battling your sinful nature.
Your body is detoxifying.
Tell them that there is a part of their mind they must eliminate in order to find happiness.
You must eliminate the toxic mind.
Your ego is the source of all your problems.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Good. Now you're free. In fact, there was no you there to be.
Literally, first thing in the book mentions how her dad
Blame
abused her, not
authority.
for weak of stomach.
It can come
That
from
is
a different
unfortunate.
source.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Your Bible clearly states that I am the Messiah.
Dude, that's gonna
Focus
be.
scientific
Look,
research.
look.
States that
This is like
Source.
this is Prince, but he's holding Sensei's wisdom nuggies.
your
Oh, no.
Bible clearly states that I am the Messiah.
bogus scientific research.
Yeah, I could see that.
Scientific studies.
Thank you,
prove
Sataka. Thanks for the plug.
my techniques work.
Or special knowledge.
Shout out Sataka, who's going to be doing a 10-hour thing. When are you doing that?
Make up stories about yourself.
When are you
to
doing
boost
that?
Your importance.
Oh, you
I
did it.
invented
Okay.
air. I have special access to the alien.
You did it today!
But don't be stupid about
Fuck!
it.
That was today?
Well, I was at work most of the time.
10 hours?
I was at work for 8 hours, so I couldn't really be there.
Induce trance states and self-hypnosis.
I failed,
Practice
Sataka.
thought-stopping rituals
I'm
and
gonna-
repetitive acts like
I'm gonna
dancing.
join a cult. One that makes me feel really bad.
Maybe don't.
How did it go? This is how all of the people who make Prince memes sound to me.
Over-breathing.
Oh no. He does have a cult. Oh my god.
Yeah, he does.
And chanting.
Stamp out down, 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 stamp out down.
Practice prolonged hours of meditation. In these trance states, they are more receptive and suggestible. Revert them back to childhood dependence and mindless obedience.
It went quite well. I talked for 30 minutes about the Carboniferous era trees, played Monster Hunter World, did a 4-hour Resident Evil 2 speedrun, and ended with Dead Space for a few hours. Dang,
Ooh,
that's
that's
quite an agenda.
Yeah.
Maybe you should
What
stay
time did you get on your
Some
RE2
help you
speedrun?
to be around unenlightened people anyway.
Oh yeah,
Wait, you just
Prince
said 4
plays
hours.
plays Resident Evil. I don't think he's
Wasting time with
super. I don't know if RE2 is his strength. I think the first one is more.
Encourage dependency.
But he does speedruns of that game.
And discourage autonomy and individuality.
Remember he and Rumi did some.
Oh, that's
I think
true,
he
yeah.
was watching her play 2.
He was watching her play 2, the remake one, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the one he's more versed in, and then she played 3.
I thought he was more versed in the first one. I don't know. I don't know
I don't know.
his Resident
He was
Evil lore.
watching because he knew that one better than she did.
And I played the first Dead Space years ago. That's pretty good. I never played the second though.
Dead Space is spooky, isn't it?
It's pretty spooky.
Aliens is
It's kind of jump scary though, right?
jump scare aliens, right?
Oh, that reminds me of another great video.
Isolate them from the rest of the world. Make them feel part of a special elite group with an important mission.
Monuments and historical landmarks will someday be erected.
Has anybody learned anything about starting a cult yet?
Yeah, have you guys learned anything yet?
Tighten your group's bond by
In-game was 2 hours,
establishing
5 minutes,
and
12
enemies.
seconds. Cutscenes bring it up to
Demonize
4.
outsiders as less than human.
Oh,
biased,
okay.
You didn't just
corrupt,
skip
or
the
conspiring
cutscenes?
against the group.
Probably
Develop an
can't.
us versus them mentality. Fighting resistance. Tell them their critical thoughts are evidence that they have committed crimes against the group. Start investigating them and make up crimes.
It is cutscene percent, the meme run. Watch every cutscene for fun. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
You expect saving the world is easy?
We're all called upon to make some sacrifices for the cause.
Just when things get tough, you want to give up.
You're weak.
Do you want to move forward toward freedom and enlightenment? Or do you want to fall back into your old
This is how I'll
dirty
talk to
ways?
people who say they're gonna go on
What's more
hiatus.
important?
I'm gonna
Our
tell them they're
mission?
weak.
Our family?
Eternal salvation?
You're giving up on
Your petty
VTubing?
grievances.
You're
What will
being
Domo think?
Ignorant
selfish.
and
Do
sinful.
you want to
You're
give
being
up on all
selfish.
of your followers?
Do you want to give up on all your followers?
There must be something
What
wrong
about the
with
people who subscribe to you?
Something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with you.
There must be something wrong with me.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Indoctrinate with fear. Tell them that they could be possessed by evil spirits, or suggest that if they should ever leave, something bad could happen to them.
I'm just warning you that without us, you're liable to get into a bad accident, get sick, or even die.
It's that simple. Now, don't you want to become a cult leader? Don't you
Sign
want
me up.
devoted
Where's the
followers
ebook?
who leave their families
Where do I
for
put
you,
my email address?
give their money
Don't
to
you want followers?
give their bodies to
Guys?
you, give up their lives
You read
for
Handmaiden's Tale sequel
and will
recently
kill
too. It's
for you?
interesting. I never read the
I
first
will
one.
die for the cause. I will kill for the cause.
I love you.
The more I watch this video, the more I can see a lot of similarities in the VTuber world. I think
Yeah, it's true.
every like group has dynamics of this. It's just a
Different levels of it.
a cult is like hacking it so that you get what you want out of it and you manipulate people to the maximum. But I think some of those behaviors happen on accident or unintentionally.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does.
Or like certain people have certain personalities where they want to play the status game. They want to get themselves over others. And they recruit others to help them in it.
Definitely.
And people have always complained about the VTuber community having culty vibes because of the positivity. But people always say that about anything really positive. You know, they're always like, whoa, it's so positive, it sounds like a cult, dude. Which I don't know is necessarily true.
It's not a bad thing to be positive.
I think what pisses people off is that they feel like it's fake, which very well can be.
Fake kindness. I think some people do it with
intentions.
Other intentions,
And
but most
then,
people are just nice, or they just want to make friends.
Yeah, and then not only that, it just like can build resentment and stuff too. If you're like nice all the time and you feel like you have to be nice, you can do that kind of thing. I don't know. It's like making people suppress who they are.
Yeah, I kind of feel that. Like I feel bad, sad posting.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to see that part.
Mm-hmm.
But like things aren't happy all the time, you know. Women's toilet. Cool.
Alright, this is my favorite video.
Let's go in here first. Cheap scare. I see there's a cheap scare incoming. Cheap scare! No. I think that is a woman's toilet. Ah! Ah!
Did it poop at him?
Yeah, it pooped on him.
So much for cheap scare.
He got so
He kept
scared.
expecting it and he missed out. It's exactly how it happens.
Happened.
The moment you give in.
That was good.
Alright, that's a good video to end the night with. Oh, Sotaka, good job on the 10-hour stream. I'll have to pop in. I don't have my notifications on for Twitch because I get bombarded. So you'll just have to let me know next time you're on and I'll try to be there. Or tweet at me or something. Don't even feel weird to do that. And Porum, thanks for hanging out and talking about books and cult stuff. And Zoe, thanks for bringing in your buddies. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed watching. We're going to be posting this cool art.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised you guys stuck around because most of it was videos that we weren't even paying attention to.
Yeah, so you guys must have really actually had no choice but to pay attention to it a little more than us. So I hope you learned something.
Maybe you could tell us what you learned.
Yeah.
Pokemon cheats, nice. Like the walk through walls. It's always fun. You just have
I'm
to
gonna
get on
walk
the
through
same
walls.
frequency.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk through walls in real life.
Yeah,
Don't even trip. I don't know how to do it now. I got conflicting info. Like, do you just get on a different frequency, or do you summon your Merkaba or some shit? I don't fucking know.
I don't know either.
Stealing other trainers' Pokemon. Wow.
Oh, it's Team Rocket.
What the fuck
run.
are you,
That
Team
sounds
Rocket?
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right. I'm yawning. I gotta get out of here. Thanks again, everybody. Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Oh, wait. Let's raid.
Oh, yeah,
I
raid,
always
raid.
forget, dude. Let's look. Let's see here.
To Bison and Oni Shan are on for me.
Yeah, I see that too. I'm gonna get someone I usually don't get though. I've been trying to do that lately.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do. I just don't have any.
We're gonna get Kiri Poi, who is I've never really spoke to him, but he's Prince's someone Prince's interacted with a lot. So we're gonna go to him. And there's no message, just say whatever you want.
Just do like, oh, it's gone.